Check it out. Okay. Carrying my torch, travel through the dark. Nobody is going to save you now.
Down of our species go on for long enough. Underneath the beat subliminals, truly what the fuck I call it what it is, man. Yo, what's weaker is fluff. How long you gonna let them mess you up with the stuff? I'll make sure you understand every word that I say. We don't consent. Straight the fuck up means it's not okay. When the time with you is up, so you better make way. Help perpetuate the ignorance you be forever. Craving out the fam. Stay original shamans and ambassadors. Fucking with the layers, this is disruptors and the challenges. A system of the guy up the break like oil calibers. Always feel the truth with no other parameters. Without judgment, know when it's best to become passengers. Also when to take the helm and be sort of a balance. Stay calm when everyone around like there's a massacre. Gonna take a watts of time, travel like a flux capacitor.
Carrying my torch, travel through the dark.
Obtain heartbreak coherence, then you'll become the spark. We're here to elevate, of course, we're the mark. Sons of the sun, yo, we knock this shit out the park.
Carrying my torch, travel through the dark.
Obtain heartbreak coherence, then you'll become the spark. We're here to elevate, of course, we'll leave a mark. Sons of the sun, yo, we knock this shit out the park.
Nobody is going to save you now.
I can't see, I'm surrounded by dark. By consequence, my consciousness ignites the spark. Who am I? Do I even exist? This time I think I'll transform inside the matrix. Karmic tricks, release for the shift, then realize the lies, cause it all lies inside. You can't stop the truth when its time has arrived. This time is one, creators we rise. Separated we tried, I can't understand what's real. It's hard to feel, they modified the deal. The darkness isn't evil, but what's inside has eyes. But so do I, let's grow wings and fly. I'm inspired to try, despite the odds we die. 7 billion ways, this time we decided to stay. To set the stage as I glide through space. Like the Silver Surfer, I came here to ride the wave.
Carrying my torch, travel through the dark.
Obtain heartbreak coherence, and you'll become the spark. We're here to elevate, of course, we're the mark. Sons of the sun, yo, we knock this shit out the park.
Carrying my torch, travel through the dark.
Obtain heartbreak coherence, and you'll become the spark. We're here to elevate, of course, we'll leave a mark. Sons of the sun, yo, we knock this shit out the park.
Carrying my torch, travel through the dark.
Obtain heartbreak coherence, then you'll become the spark. We're here to elevate, of course, we'll leave a mark. Sons of the sun, yo, we knock this shit out the park.
Carrying my torch, travel through the dark.
Obtain heartbreak coherence, then you'll become the spark. We're here to elevate, and of course, we'll leave a mark. Sons of the sun, yo, we knock this shit out the park.
Carrying my torch, travel through the dark. Check it out. Nobody is going to save you now. Carrying my torch, travel through the dark. Nobody is going to save you now.
When the
magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. What is up, everyone? It's your main man, Frank Castle, your Sorcerer Supreme. And it's Sunday. And greetings to each and every one of you that just kind of went through that long opening for the show. I wanted to make sure everything's on track and everything's working right. There's a lot of weirdness going on around here, and we've been trying to sort it out. Just let me know. What shout outs? Hey, Matt McDonald, that's my man right there. He has 2 green thumbs, by the way. Shout outs to you, my brother. How do I sound? How's the sound coming through? I want to make sure, and I'm asking. I usually don't, but I'm going to because I have to. Tonight's show is sponsored by Runts, El Delicios, El Perfectos. I hope everybody is hanging in there right now and having a good time. Shout outs to the Fearless family. And thanks for tuning in. Paul is here with me, the etherical translator. She's backseat driving. So I'm going to just give it a few minutes until someone answers the question for me on how the sound sounds. And so it's just been a little bit of a weird moment. It's like everything is down. I don't know if maybe for some of us, the ability to want to create or to have to create, like there's a desire to create, but it's almost like you're in a holding pattern. I don't know. Does that sound right? All right, good. It sounds good. Oh, so excited. That's what's up. Greetings. Holla at you, JF. Thank you. Shout out to Rebecca. How's it going? Sending you positive vibes. Matt, thank you. Thank you. So we were just listening to music around here, and Lexi, we love you, Lex.
I love you, Lexi.
Paula just said, I love you, Lexi. Tell Sam we said, what's up? All right. So what up, Hans? Hey, listening is background at work. That's great. Hopefully I don't say anything terrible to get anyone fired. You're fired. You know what? Finish out the day. You're hired back. As soon as you're finished with the day, you're fired. Don't forget to come back in on Monday. Well, that's I got to have fun with this because I honestly don't know how I'm going to start this tonight. I don't know how I want to say what I want to say, but I know I have to say some stuff. Does that make sense? Me and you have been holding this down.
we feel like, and this is why you haven't heard from us. This has been I've been doing interviews and stuff that are starting to come out. Shout outs to Joe Roop over at Lighting the Void, Fringe FM. So for all the weird negative, there's all this weird positive. The ability to make some music has gone down just for a little bit. Computer issues and other things. Life gets in the way sometimes. So it was like not a stall. It was just like, we're going to stop and take a pause and then take a breath and go for yours. Uh-oh. Don't get me started. All right. So we it's like a restart of the system, the physical system. Don't mind me if I'm a little off. It's been like this, and I'm like, I have to talk to everyone because it's about to get crazier. So I have to jump in. It's almost like we're getting it's not almost, as if we are getting blasted with solar. And it's been there's been holes in the sun directly pointed at us. Week after week, we get new reports. There's a giant hole that opened 30 Earths wide, and it's facing us and just launched some stuff at us. Right. This is all building up to the solar event. We talked about it like very early in when we started Fearless, and people jumped all over it. And then they were like, well, Corey Good came out with that with Wilcock, and it's not real, blah, blah, blah. Y'all got to stop putting your faith in gurus and then start going in for yourself and seeing it for yourself. I've gone in specifically for myself first, was shown. Then I had to sit back and kind of wait a little bit and like absorb what I just witnessed. I talked to you guys about it. But then I went in again and I was like, come on, really? And then I got to witness it from a ship, from inside one of the spheres with Toth. And they literally just explained it to me. We were sitting out right next to the sun. And I was like, wow, look at this. This is not at all what people say it is. And that's how I seen that. Like, you can enter and exit the sun at different points. People argue this all day, and it's okay. It's my story, or it's our story. And there's many others who have come through my path, or their path through my way, like they came through, and then they get to witness it for themselves. Then we get over time, and you're like, okay, nothing happened, right? And then everyone blames the guys that originally put it out, as if they started blaming Allison Coe. That was a big one. Well, she gave a date and she shouldn't have, but it's not. So it happens on the other side, right? In the higher realms, and then it bleeds in here. So it takes a little time and momentum to get there. However, not everything's going to be a magic wand waved, and then everyone's like, oh, purple and pink energy everywhere. And, oh my gosh, we're doing it in love and light and kumbaya. That's all bullshit. All right. So the solar event is just like the weapon they used as a sonic emitter, because that's what I'm calling it. I seen a cartoon where the guy had it on his hand, the sonic gun, and it shot the donuts out one after another, and it got faster and faster and faster and faster. And then people would get stuck in it, and they kind of put their hands over their ears and, what's happening to me? Okay, so he tunes that low, and then it's just like wom 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 wom. And he speeds it up. It's like wom 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 wom. Okay, so the sun has been doing this the whole time. It's been ramping. So who knows from what perspective, what any character is seeing comes from the time perspective, because it's been going off the whole time. So if you're like, oh, the solar flash, well, what if they showed you the third one from the main one, and then they gave you a date, and obviously nothing occurred? Okay. For all the times you thought nothing has occurred, go back, and I want y'all to start Googling and be like, did the sun open up 20 times the size of Earth and then spit energy at us? Then 2 weeks, so that's right here. It went out again. Then like 2 weeks prior to that, it was 30 times the size of the Earth, and we were getting hit. I have gone through personally, well, in my home, I'll speak for me. So many upgrades, one after another, but then it also got, this is why you haven't been hearing from me. It got, I first of all had clients come through, and then I had to upgrade myself because I'm not handling it like the way I thought I was going to handle it. There's a whole bunch of other things happening around us. So when you're like, well, just go meditate on it or eat more mushrooms or take more ayahuasca, there's like real life stuff going on. And it's like, so all the stuff you've ever learned from ayahuasca ever and any psychedelic experience is now to be brought forth and dropped onto the table. And you are to move through these experiences that maybe you missed, not quite failed. Maybe you could do something stronger. One time you went left, now you can go right. Paul and I call it new first times. We've already done this, but we haven't done it together like this. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to reference Ben Affleck, which I never thought from Batman, right? You could fight a million demons on a million worlds. I don't care. You've never fought us united. So you have no idea what you can be up against if we close the circuit, which we did. However, this Earth is the advanced class, and there are people not going into the next. So the solar event builds up over time to a final shot, which then you see the change. It doesn't mean you're going to be floating and flying. What happens because once again, I've been participating to make sure this is correct. At least it's going to happen in my universal structure, and I'm attached to quite a few people, and they've seen it. So, and since we talked about it, I think it was 2 shows ago or 3 shows ago, it was called literally the solar flash. And I was like, here it comes. It's coming. It's coming. I know people don't want to hear that because they're tired of hearing it, but it's coming, right? So there's a culmination occurring time-wise in the matrix construct to what's happening on the outside. We've said a million times, the enemy can only hold it back. They can't stop any of this, but you'll go down. I'm not saying you, but those who aren't doing the work are going to experience a nice deep sleep. You're out. Some people might be unaware at all of what's happening until it's like right on top of them. That's how kind of but they might be able to handle it. So there's going to be a spectrum of all beings doing all kinds of things. I don't know if it wipes out, like, let's say, artificial humans on the planet. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it'll reveal things, and we're going to get into all of this tonight. Like, will it shut off the tech and we have a moment where we're like really high vibrational? However, the transmission goes off that's been broadcast at us the whole time, and we start to see who's been right in front of us the whole time. It's not who they are. Will some people be jumping around, floating and flying? I'm sure somewhere. Every time I say no or yeah and just don't go, look, it's all real. So if there's a spectrum of people, some will be really great at this and might be doing that. Others will be like going down for the count, where beings like myself, I go down for the count and then wake up pretty quick. And Paul is there with me. And then we wake up and everyone else is asleep. And we just go out and there's people just out. And the energy is like this pinkish, purplish. Here you go. She's planting. She's been planting nonstop. So, okay. So that final pulse that does that, some are going to need to be taken off in the ships. Some are not. We have like assigned things. I swear that we practice in dream time. There's almost like we're supervisors of sections of people, and they usually are people. So it's not like someone you don't know, but or like they're in your vicinity, and then you keep an eye on them. The people that are awake, helping the people that are asleep, getting up onto the ship. So is it a rapture point? I don't know. What I just saw recently was almost like the two men in the field, one man's gone kind of situation. But I don't want to freak nobody out. But it came from people saying, no, I saw this to me, right? Like, it is going to happen. This is what they were saying. It is going to happen, but we got plenty of years. I got 7 years before my turn. And I'm like, 7 years? It's happening right now. Oh, snap. Well, this makes total sense. So as this progresses, it will unlock people. People won't be aware of what happened, where they went to some degree or another. Other people will be moved to other places. Once again, it's like the movie theater, or like everyone's on the bus and then you get off the bus and everybody goes someplace different. Or you get out of the movie theater. We all came to see the movie, but we're all from different places. So when we leave, we all just go back to our natural position, it's really wild. So all of that's going on. There's no shortage of things that are happening when it pertains to this specific stuff, because people are like, yeah, but Bigfoot. And I'm like, yes, Bigfoot. And yes, Smurfs. And yes, underground bases. And yes, unicorns were there. And dragons are real. Get over it. There are mer people and aquatic beings and inner space and outer space and inner earth and a bigger earth. Like, it's all real. All right. So there's a lot that goes on in these events. That's why I've talked about it a lot in the past and then just kind of stopped. And then I was like, oh, when it starts up again, when the cycle comes back around, I have to talk about it. I have to come back on and be like, oh, listen. But I'm going to take a little bit of credit, because you go back on the shows, I had just hit up everyone and was like, yo, we have to talk about this. This stuff is incoming. And then since I've had that conversation here, it's been coming out. It's been bleeding into everything. And I'm like, once again, we're like manifesting into it. However, other things, just want to say shout outs to Kate, my man KG, Sons of the Sun. You guys should check out the new music. It's great. We're just had to take a little break and back off. We have so many songs lined up, but there's so much other stuff happening. It almost feels like if society crashes right now on the system setup, because it would be system failure. Nothing goes bad unless you make it go bad. So the whole world could shut down, and unless you're the one rioting in the streets and screaming, there's no problem. Well, how am I going to get? Don't worry about it. Nobody gets anything. That's why they tell you to be prepared. If you're not prepared, then you're going to have a problem. Right? So, and it's not going to go down for long, long periods of time. Even the villains want to turn it on within like 10 days to keep you freaked out. So an EMP blast, solar flare from the sun, bathing us in energy, knocks the AI, the one that we don't like, completely out of the system. It resets that part of the system. So you don't have to battle it when this part is over. It like knocks it back into another space, like out of our bubble. I don't know how else to put it. So it's out of our frequency, allowing the people that are still like hiding in comfort inside a terrible 3D paradigm, because the matrix cannot shatter for them just yet, or they'll die. Straight up. That's what'll happen. And they're losing my fucking mind. Okay, so they don't want that. So what they do is they let it play out. Right? But someone sets it up so you can have the same okay ability to, like, as someone like me who drank ayahuasca and has to go through this. But if I didn't have the ayahuasca, I'd be freaking out. I'd probably be dead by now. Instead, I'm mad chill. I'm hanging out. I'm here to observe. You know, we became fearless. There's a whole crew of you. You're all there. Not having the emotional meltdown is what anchors you to point. The sun hits with the flash. That's energy we're bathing in absorbs into those of us that are hardcore grounded, right? That can handle it. Those are the ones walking around, and it like travels into us, grounded into Earth, into Mother Earth, Gaia. And it's like the upgrade for the area and the space. You know, people were making jokes with the demon hunter stuff. Yo, they have everything I said I wanted to do. I want the demons at night to hide, like keep the lights on in the room. And then, you know, it's time for you to go to bed, baby demon. And he's like, yo, I can't sleep, Dad. Why not? Frank's in the closet. He keeps saying, hey, kid, you want some cake? I know I'm not supposed to take nothing from strangers, Dad, but he's bald and he shines. I don't know. He's got this weird smile. He just keeps smiling at me and he laughs and he's like, come closer, kid, because you're gonna get it. I want them to tell stories about me the way we make movies about things like Nightmare on Elm Street, except it ends with cake and pie and everyone covered in it and like ascending into the higher realm or being completely fucking transmuted. The choice is now yours because the board is being cleared. Source knocks off areas like all the time, and the villains are doing it as well. It's like they're trying to straight up battle God. Excuse me, battle Source, or some other rivalry that considers itself God but is a lowercase g, by just blowing things up to hurt the people at this point and re-enslave. But you're not going to enslave us now. That we're like way past the point where that could work, and too many of us are screaming, and there's too many kids on board now. You have mothers on board. Like when I started this 7 years ago, at least with the experiences 7 years ago. No, it was the show. Yeah. To where we're at now, that's 7 years. There's mothers now. There's people that were like, nah, you know, I don't understand. And then had kids and were like, no, we completely understand. Don't touch my kid. Right. Like you'd have a 7-year-old at that point. At this point, right in this now moment, if you were listening to the show since I started, and you would be asking me questions, because I get them all the time from people like, yo, what should I do? And I'm like, I can't tell you what to do. I can just give you options from my perspective. And then you're going to have to eventually make a choice. You should be talking to like your inner. And then if your inner's like, nah, man, hands off. This is how you do it. It's vote with your dollar. And the answer is no. It's that simple. Okay, that kind of work that you put into your life, like, no, I'm not going to eat this. I'm going to eat that instead. It's the best I can do. I'm going to filter the water. It's the best I got. It's not 100%, but it's better than most. Like, as you pile that on, you just get better and better and stronger. Even if you're a mess, you get stronger. Little at a time. It's a baby steps that are huge leaps and bounds. If you ask any of the ayahuasca people, the mushroom people, the DMT people that are working, a lot of the DMT people, one guy was like, man, I'm an expert. I've been in over 150 times or whatever. He went on and on. It's like, obviously you didn't learn shit. You're just still ego, zero experience on the massive level that brings tons of new awareness. You're just talking about jesters and jeweled basketballs in kindergarten. We are way past that shit, son. I blew past that. Not only, I don't want to even make a joke, say episode 1, when the portal opened, the first thing that happened is I walked through the portal. They all just waved goodbye, like as if I was there hanging out with them. And they were like, oh, see you around, kid. You ain't coming back here no more. I was like, bye guys, I don't even know who you are, but I'll see you around. And then I've never dealt with that stuff again. And most of the time it's Baphomet just playing most people. If it's not Baphomet playing them, it's the AI that's been in full functional force inside the kindergarten area is 4D. It's where you fly around and you see your thoughts, you see a couple of shapes and sizes. That's why they tell you to break through. Anyway, so your hard work, dedicate to what you do in your creation here on the planet, providing an anchor point. So when this energy hits, it's going to roll right to you. Like, yeah, everyone's getting it, but people that are anchor points know what I'm talking about. It's like we were holding the tent up while you're inside the tent while training. So there's like men and women holding the poles instead of them being into the ground. We have to hold the position because without us, it just explodes. People just pop. That's why it's so slow. The solar flash would have occurred already. I've watched them just pump out the energy, like the energy hitting the spheres, and the spheres looking like pearls surrounding our giant area with Earth. Bang, right in the middle. And the energy just coming out of the sun and hitting the spheres, and they can't stop it, so they just disperse it like boo boo, and it goes in all directions because it's affecting everything. And it still hits us, but it doesn't blast us because they're like, yo, the kill shot will kill you. Not all right. So I'll attribute it when I first saw Ra, lowercase g God, Ra, right? He came out of a portal in my grandmother's basement at like 2:30 in the morning. It was the freakiest thing. And then I got so excited and then almost had a heart attack. My physical frame could not hold ground in that, and he didn't even show up yet. The portal opened. It like started going in slow motion. Like I saw him like rising up, and it was like almost like it was happening to music. And then he started to break the portal, and I saw the front of his beak, and it was like shining. And the energy came into the room, and I went, I don't know what's happening. And there was like a guard or something. He was like a totally golden light being that looked like Ra, kind of, that had like a spear, and he had stabbed me with it to calm me down. I said, did you just stick that in my back? I have a back fucking problem. And he goes, just lay down and look. And I said, I don't know what's happening. I think I'm having a heart attack. Did you stab me in the chest? And he goes, no. He goes, this calms you down. And then Ra goes, I can't come out there. He's like, you'll die. You've never experienced this with your flesh, even though your spirit knows me, knows the whole story. You don't know. And you've never experienced it. So you can't be like a 2D being and have a 5D being just show up and be like, hello. Like it'll just pop, bang, energy in the room. Can't experience it. You can't do that. So they know that, right? It's so important. All right. So what are we in? April? Okay. Oh, I almost knocked my fucking coffee over to answer your question. Okay. I was given the date of March 2023 for the solar flash and thought nothing happened, but what you're saying makes sense. Okay. Go back to March and type into Google, did the sun open up a hole the size of 20 Earths? Then open up another page and do the size of 30 Earths in March and shoot energy at us. Did at any point this month, do you guys, I'm sorry if I'm being like that, I'm like really connected and really high up there of like frequency. Did you look at the Schumann resonance? Right? You're an actual antenna. So if you're breaking through, it's like, oh shit, like you'll feel it. And it's intense, man. I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. I had multiple anxiety attacks, and then they just went away. Like shaking, like from 2:30 in the morning, sitting up. Like I try to go to bed, and then it's not happening. And then I'm up on and off all night. Then it's the worst at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Then about 5:30, 5:45, you hear a click. Wait, what was that? All of a sudden the breeze comes in. Oh, wait, I feel great. Oh my gosh. Why is it that now I can go to bed? But I couldn't the whole time. And then you hear the stories of the spiritual awakenings taking place between 3:30 and 5:30. Everyone is different. Everyone absorbs different amount of energies. Everyone has a different amount of abilities unlocked. So it's a very interesting time to be alive, but we're going through this, and it's serious, man. It's like an upgrade to your nervous system. You're going from carbon to crystalline, not crystal. Makes you think like you're turning into Crystal Man. It's the light body being, and to have that kind of stuff loaded into your physical framework, because your etherical framework has to be cleared out. You have to have your protection going, and your aura's got to be good, and all your chakras, like, you got to start at the baseline. I could breathe, I could do all this stuff. I understand what grounding is, and you're working your way straight up into the next positions. And your higher self, which is always there, is going to get into your frame, and he's or she's huge and made of light. So you have to shed density to fit more light. Thus, people calling themselves holy. And they're like, he's holier than thou. If when you get ripped apart by ayahuasca, you're standing there, you look like Swiss cheese. And you're like, what am I supposed to? You think it's really you in the flesh standing there. And she's like, what do you mean? And you're like, what am I supposed to do? I got holes everywhere. And she's like, you're holy. And then you fill it with light. And then boom, and light just fills those areas, and it's back to normal, except now you feel lighter. I feel good. Right? And out of the purge into the bucket or into the bathroom, if you're paying attention, you'll find that the things pulled out of you that you get to purge and spit out, and now you feel better. It's really like the heavy metal detox, sucking the metals and the black goo out of the spots that were like holes in Swiss cheese that you then filled with light. Am I making sense? The golden lantern has arrived, my brother. I love you. What's going on, everyone? Let me take a second and say hello, because I love each and every one of you. It's good to see all of you. Yeah, you guys are ready. I can feel the energy. I can feel it. So this energy, takes you up to another level, but the times that you go holy on yourself, in other words, you go in and you repair trauma, you don't have to use ayahuasca to do that. Some people meditate, some people just love themselves more. They change, they stoner, they change their diet and their habits, and they learn to love again. So that is doing the work, right? Like, there are people that I'll never be able to like physically apologize to for things that might have happened when I was much younger or whatever. But I go to them under meditations. I mean, I'll be in the shower and the meditation comes on like a DMT trip, and I'll have like a thought come in, and I'm like, yeah, I did do that when I was a kid. Like, I've been taking responsibility for everything, right? Yeah. I've been like, this is my responsibility. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry. Or like, look, this is theater, and I just played a part. That part is now over, and I'm sorry. I had amnesia. I didn't know. So the Frank in me that did things maybe to you that you felt like smited you, just know this version of Frank knows that he had amnesia. And if it was this version, I would have never did that shit to no one. I would have never taken part of any of name calling or douchebaggery. I would have just did other stuff, you know. And then the apology goes out. I did my part. That's it. Close out the cycle. Okay, so now you're healing those wounds and those traumas, and that's making you lighter, right? We've talked on the show, just in case there's some new listeners, about going through the eye of the needle or the, what is that, the hourglass, right? So you can't bum rush the hourglass middle part that you pass through. So we turn the hourglass and now it's dripping sand into the bottom part. We can't all go, so it just drips like 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you want to consider yourself one grain in that, you can't come through with the other grain. Like you have to just be you. That doesn't mean you have to give everything up. You still get to keep the command station and the Fortress of Solitudes and the Bat Caves and the gardens and the cool cart. Like, you could keep that shit. You can't be attached to it. It doesn't mean give it away. It means have fun, but have respect and understand. That's it. You hurting yourself? No. You hurting anyone else? Nope. You sure? Do Karens count? No, Karens actually do not count. Well, then no, I'm doing good. Then go about your business. Let's go, man. Create. Do your thing. That brings you higher. Allowing more light in through those holes. Divine light. It sounds biblical that way, but it's source power. It's literally source supreme. Here I come with the light, but that's because it's you. It's not like there's God over there then coming over here to give you superpowers. No, you're in a body that has to activate its DNA. And the more of it that you activate, from like 2 strands, 3 strands to up to 12, that's really high. But we're getting there fast, but we're also moving into new positions. So if you had a whole bunch of timelines and things that you could have did and would have did, could have did, and went back to, and oh man, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, for some of you, the 50s, right? The 90s, oh, that was the best. Oh no, it was 2000s, right? Like, you got to stop living like that. You got to just say it for what it is and move on. It's a play, and the play takes place, right? Like, one scene is Grease, and then all of a sudden it's Batman, like in 89, and then boom, it's Batman again. It's Christian Bale. You're like, oh my God, what an upgrade this is. Like, it just continuously jumps. Then when it goes to dancing, it's Dirty Dancing all of a sudden. You're like, wait, when did this happen? Anybody? Why did Patrick Swayze show up and start doing this with this girl? Is this correct? And you're like, everyone starts going, it's the time of my fucking life, bro. And you're like, all right, cool. Boom. And then you got Superman. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then the cycles repeat and loop. So you look back, it's like a fucking costume party. It's like every day is Halloween because you're a spiritual being having a physical experience. So you're playing fucking dress up every single day. And the Matrix has to provide, the holographic matrix has to, universal matrix structure has to provide you with the scenery and the background and the place to do it. Okay, know the difference between the deception and the removal of the veil in 5D and whatever. Like, you're thinking golden highways, you have to build yourself to that shit. If I put you on the if I put you on the yellow brick road and put you in front of the eye, the great eye that's on the, the AI on the back of the dollar bill, would you explode right now? Would you completely freeze? Would you fainting goat? That's a good one, right? They just look, and then you just look at them, and they try to run, and they just and they just fall over. Would you do that? A lot of people are like, nah, and then go watch the movie Arrival. Just watch 10 minutes into the first part of the movie. The first 10 minutes, sorry. Stupid. First 10 minutes of the movie, the guy that's literally hired by the government to talk to the aliens has a fucking heart attack, along with all these other people just dying because the ship just came down. They didn't even see nothing yet. It's just a ship. It came down, and he was like, holy shit. Done. He's done. They took the girl because she was right there. They were like, she checks all the boxes. So they were like, well, I guess you're going. And she was like, well, I'm a linguist. And they were like, perfect, go. I'm like, whoa, look at that shit. And they're like, yo, half the force is gone. They're just having heart attacks. That's because that's what would happen. There's a lot of people that are like outside of the NPCs and the artificials. There's a lot of people just not ready because they keep telling themselves in their head they missed the 80s or the 70s, or it was better then when it was this and that, and they never took care of themselves, and they never got proper. They never did what they wanted to do. They never had a fucking clue. They never tried to do anything. They never stepped outside the box. They stayed inside the box so much that they didn't remember they were in a box, and they would fucking criticize you every step of the way for doing everything. And you'd be the guy that's like, yo, man, it's raining real hard. You're going to drown in here. You better get to the roof or you come with me now. And they're like, no, God's going to save me. And we know how that story goes, right? You just keep waiting and people keep showing up. We're trying to save you, man. The whole place, you're going under, man. We even brought Noah's Ark. You got to jump in it. No, nope. God's going to come. And he dies. He meets God and he's like, you never came to save me. Bro, I sent everybody to save you. Everybody's God. Like you, we are capital G gods. I'm getting like, I'm never going to get tired of saying this. That's what I was going to say. But we are capital G gods, capital S source. We are the all and the individual. You recognize this power. You're off to the races. Now, you want the solar event, more people have to lift up. We've talked about the percentages and the people. Now it doesn't matter. That was to help you get right with yourself and to make it come quicker. It sounded awkward, to make it happen more to make it happen quick, and then we'd all be like, oh, this is great, but that's not what's happening. People are waking up, but not the way it needed to happen, so they're just sending in stuff in more, a little bit more, get it going. Either you're not paying attention. I wasn't paying attention. They dropped me on my friggin' head. No. You fucked up, kid.
No, it did.
Okay. So as you do your work and you can hold more light, when the solar event occurs, it's easier on you because other people are going to just have to go down, where others, that rapture point comes from like things like saying, oh, God's going to come and save us or whatever, but you really can't handle the energy. So UFOs actually show up. They're not UFOs. They're starships, and they're all people we know, by the way. It gets crazier the closer this gets. And they take you up for a little bit. The event occurs. Then they put you back. But if your frequency is more 3D oriented, you have to go back to 3D. A lot of people differ with this. I don't know if it's like another Earth or another Earth-like planet or another area here on the bigger planet where they kind of shuffle some people off to so they don't die and they have some more time to like live through the moment. So they'll have amnesia of the whole thing. They'll just wake up the next day and think, well, got to go to work. Everyone that moved into a step further than that will remember that which was behind them. So the higher up you go, which it really doesn't matter, you're just trying to pierce a certain, I don't know what your contracts are anymore. I try to judge people by what I go through, and I should never do that. Like judge the event through my eyes only. I can see when it happens anyway. I have sight up and down. It's just the weirdest thing, right? Like my guides are right here. I see them. I could access family members. It's not a problem. You always think to yourself, can you go live and talk about something crazy like that? Yes, because I'm not fucking lying. That's why it's easy. I'm not selling I didn't write a book. I'm just telling you the story because here it comes now. Okay. You don't get in by proxy, so I'm not going to talk at anyone. So don't think I am. You don't have to do anything. If you choose to, we're going to go back to the 2 train deal. We are in 2 trains riding alongside each other on the tracks, right? One train says going to 5D. One train says staying in 3D. However, as they're riding alongside each other, we're going back and forth, making decisions, changing things, trying to do our contractual obligations to stuff. And then slowly, over time, as you make your choice, you start to get your seat in the car now, and the trains start to pull away from each other. One will stay where just pull up to the next station, and the other one will go up to the next station up. Now, this is all metaphor for the frequencies. So don't think I'm like, oh, we're taking trains there. But obviously, it's a good one. Yeah. Well, what do you think Hogwarts uses it for? Like, I knew all this shit before Hogwarts was fucking invented. Like, that I would know about it. So I don't, they did their thing, and then I did my thing, and then I discovered that later on through you. It's crazy. Watched Doctor Strange last night, the original one. I felt like they just listened to the first 3 years of the show, and then all the stuff I did on Truth Frequency with Chris, and then made Doctor Strange, because that was years after. So you make your choice, and you sit in the car. Those that go up and choose to go up in frequency can always come down. So this is what they mean by you're not losing anything. You're just going into a new position. So a lot of people, and I'm sure it's like a lot of parents, like a lot of older people in their 70s and stuff, they'll tend to think this is the safer way to be because something new is too dangerous and scary while they're being poisoned, while they're being injected, while they're being attacked from all directions and taken down with money over time. Like, it's just a terrible place to be. But yet they would sit in it because it's more comfortable than what the next thing is, because they didn't do any of the work. And some people don't even need to do any of the work. They've been doing it the whole time. Like people that care for other people. That's awesome, right? But you also have to learn to take care of yourself. And then you find those people and you're like, whoa, look at all these people. Bang, 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 bang. And they're just flying in. And it's like, what do you mean? I just got to love myself. Boom, you go. It's like, yeah, just hug yourself. Tell yourself you love yourself. Tell everybody you're sorry. What are you sorry for? Did you hurt these people? No? Then you have nothing to apologize for. Did you do something to these people? And it's none of my business. Yes. If the answer is yes, you can speak from your heart. It doesn't mean this isn't AA. You don't have to go back. You have to say it into the universe while you're grounded and breathe it in. Like, I'm sorry, everyone, for anything I've ever done. Everyone has their own thing that they go through. I literally would say it like it's a mantra. Just let it go. One time, done. Right? If I need to revisit something because it was so terrible, then I revisit it. And I love myself again and again and again, even though it's really hard. Okay, Lexi, new people want to know if we living in that bubble. So the bubble is 3D. 3D, this space we're in, because we're not in another space. We're in this one. The whole reality is holographic, real reality, and is frequencies and vibrations and sounds and movement and all kinds of cool shit. So in the 3D frequency, we occupy this area, and there is a nub over us, which is you can't just go up. It's a school, right? So the process is to ascend or graduate. So it's going to naturally progress and push you along to learn life's lessons. This is what happens. My grandfather told me, well, as a young man, you know, you're going to go through things and things are going to happen to your body and you're going to want to do things with other people. And then at times people are going to make you angry. And you're going to want to do all the different kinds of things with people. And you can't do those crazy things without taking a deep breath. And you're like, what? Shut up. Right. And they're like, oh, you're at that stage. Okay. See, they know. And you didn't know. Then you grow up and you're like, damn, if I would have just listened to what he was saying a little bit more. See, I tended to, in the end, in the long, after I made a couple of really hard mistakes, to just listen. And then half of what they said worked 100% for me. Got me to this stage. Right? Like, so everything was like a landing pad for another thing that was really much better than the thing I was doing before. Right? So, all right. So outside of the 3D bubble, all right. So that area that we're in, the 3D bubble, inside the frequency in that, is a holographic matrix copy of the greater reality. Right? So like you're in this box, which is like 1D to 4D. That's why you skip 4D in this. You go 3D to 5D. You can't hang out in 4D. That's where thoughts and stuff go. You're a physical being. You go in there and you're going to be in there with your nightmare, with everyone's nightmares, the classical fears of everything that exists that hasn't been cleaned up yet. And that has to be cleaned up by, this is why they say do the work, because you like slay your monster, and then it removes that from the astral realm. So now you did your part. You cleaned up your shit. Your office is clean. That's why they say clean your space. You got to do that there too, which is why you face the demon. You know, there is no hell. You like experience hell, and there's probably a place that looks like hell and feels like hell, but you don't go there unless you, as the creator, to go, I'm going to go to hell. And then you manifest a reality or something that is that. The devil, this is just energies and people absorbing those energies and bringing forth, I know it sounds weird, things that they were contracted to do. But inside of this holographic matrix, it was, hey, watch your face. We were taken over. So your genetics, our genetics, were tuned down a little bit. So we were only capable of seeing what we see. Giving only a squirt, I would say, of DMT, which is what sends us off to sleep at night. And you start to have those really crazy, like, but you're having this crazy visual. That's DMT. You're awake and having the visual through the same exact thing. They're like, you're not going to go to sleep, but your body is going to go to sleep. But you are going to step out of the body awake and come out here. Or you're going to sit in your body and you're going to have your eyes open. You're going to activate your third eye and you're going to see it the way you're supposed to see it from the human perspective. And we just got to check the body to see what's going to happen first. Well, they only allow you a squirt of that, right? Just enough to go, oh, God, come save me. Or, oh, I pray for this. And then get up and go to work every day after going into dreamland. They dialed in the amnesia, put you in a... so you didn't choose to do this the forced reincarnation cycle. That's the takeover inside that bubble. So you're like in 3D, like, whoa, what's good? You're just bouncing off. You never leave and go up. You just stay in the bubble. It's like the trouble bubble top. Like we're all living in that, but that's like metaphorical. It's like what the frequency would look like. It's not that there's a literal dome over us. That's not it. The frequency is hijacked, is a better visualization in your mind. But saying it like being in the snow globe or something always helps. But then they go, well, what does that mean? This flat Earth? No, the Earth is not flat. densities are flat, right? So if we were outside of the density, or if we were up in another density, we were like up in 5th or 6th density, and we look down, you pick and choose, almost like if we were playing a video game, and then you get to like pick the level. You guys understand what I'm trying to get at? Those birds are going crazy outside, huh? So they would appear flat, but then you'd click on it and you press enter, like to press the button to go in. Oh, I'm going to choose this. And then it blows up into a giant 3D structure. Inside that structure, everything's spherical. But every perspective is different, right? Every single perspective is different. Be gentle with yourself if you're stepping in the cat food. All right, a dimension is just like a lateral, or all right. So okay. If we were in the bubble, I don't have nothing to draw on. We are in the sphere, and everything. I'll go this way. Everything is in this sphere, right? And then picture an infinite amount of, because it's not just a circle, it's actually a giant round sphere with things in it. And then multiple little bubbles infinitely placed everywhere inside that sphere. And you exist in one. Dimensions would be all around you, the other bubbles. The density would be the frequency in which you're on, and you move up. And then look, you can look down from there. Things change for you. It's like a new thing for you. You experience like being lighter, let's say. Like, wow, I'm only 70 pounds instead of 200. And I feel smarter and I feel healthier. And I'm in this new version of the place. Whereas each one of those bubbles can represent something like Midgard, Asgard, Niflheim, Schmartelheim, Planet B through 17, X42, the new 55. Like, just it, you're allowed to go into each one of those, and then each one of those is its own thing, and you can jump into other infinite dimensions. Those are dimensions. Density is like going up in levels where you like change your frequency into this higher place. You're not just moving into like I feel like it's a cross of what I'm saying, because I'm trying to define it and leave it open, because the density, it's like you move up into that position. It's like the spiral staircase, the activation of the Jacob's ladder and the 33 in the spine. The densities would be like those things, moving up into onto the next step. And dimensions would be everything infinitely attached and around you in that space that you're actually standing in. So I know that sounds weird, but you can do a chart and show the sphere and then show density levels inside of the sphere. You could say like starting down there is like very low density inside the sphere. And then you can have, I got to do it this way, it's in reverse. And then you can have levels inside of that giant circle. And you're like, okay, that's the lowest level. So you can't go any lower when you touch down into that space. That's like considered the void. There's no, like, you would almost feel no connection to source. There's nothing there. It's just a blank thing. And then you start to work your way back up, and you can put those levels inside of that. And then there would just be infinite bubbles, because you'd be in a spinning, rotating sphere, which is actually, what is the donut called? Which is actually a torus field, So if you jump back higher, you see it's a torus field. It's collapsing in on itself and playing out new things inside the holographic reality. And each one of those screens is a different version of you in a different place, in a different position, in a different dimension, in a different density. Is this, if I'm going off on too deep of a concept and running with it, then let me know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, okay, let me try to answer these. Okay. Yeah. And you vibe up. They always say, like, yo, get your frequency high frequency. Da, 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 da. You get into these steps leading up to, let's say, a great feeling. And you're like, wow, I feel great. It's like vibrating. I'm vibrating so high. It's like nothing could stop me today. Like you ask someone like Michael Jordan how many times a day he did that. He felt that. He would tell you multiple points during the day when he would be playing. He zones out and becomes this other thing. He's such high frequency. He's not even paying attention to the game. He is the game. He's like watching from outside, from the other side of the court. Like he has spirits around him telling him versions of himself. And he could just see all of it. And then he plays through it. You know, you got to think the power of capital G God, which is, I want to get rid of that and use source again. It's mind blowing to what you think of it already. And then you would almost say, like, I would have to bow to the presence of the source because it's infinitely ridiculous. I can't put a super power. It's like source. It will upgrade and change and flip each time. And that's you. You get to do all that wonderful stuff. Okay. Have I seen angels? Are they multi-eyed beings? No, they are not multi-eyed beings. I'll tell you what those angels. So I one time did heavy dose and wound up on what looked like a ship. It had a railway running through it like a rail car. And on one side, there was some stuff going on. And on the side that I was on, there was an Anunnaki guy and a science dude. And it was funny. It was the first time I saw them in their science outfits. And I thought I was looking at a minion. Like he had, I thought it was a Cyclops, right? The guy with the one eye. And then he looked at me. And there's a He-Man character called, I don't know. He's got this thing that spins and he's got one eye. And then he has a different eye and each eye does something different. And you could like spin it around. He looked like that. When I got closer to him, he was really tall. I'm standing next to him and he looked at me and I seen his whole face was in there. So he was just looking through the portal. So he was wearing the outfit. And he said to me, "What do you see?" I said, "I see you." And he goes, "Oh, and Archangel Michael." I said, "I don't see Archangel Michael. My brother Michael." And they were like, there were other guys there that looked like him that weren't dressed like that. He had like this, I don't know, like an iPad looking thing. And he was just taking notes, I guess, on why or what was going on, like with me not seeing what they were telling me. It was just right there. There he is right there. I looked over. I didn't see nothing. And then I looked again. I said, "Michael's not here." And he goes, "Right there." And I looked, and it looked like there was a robot, like a spider robot with those red eyes. And it was projecting from one of the eyes an image of what I thought Archangel Michael was. And I wasn't seeing that part. I was seeing the actual machine. And when I see pictures of these angels, I go, you know, if you just could look through like a holographic deception and see that that's actually a machine showing you an image, a visual, that seems more topical. Because people will argue with me today, Archangel Michael, archons. And I'm like, you're right. The AI makes mimics of all the other creatures. So there's a fake Archangel Michael running around for sure. For sure. Then he shows up. It was like time stopped. They do this in that show Lucifer. One of the brothers could stop time, and he just shows up and starts talking, and you're like, holy shit, how'd you do that? He could do that. And I said to them right before it happened, I looked over and I said, no, there he is right there. That's Michael. That's my brother. And he just got up and everything froze. And he was like, what are you doing here? You know, we go through a lot of trouble to protect you and keep an eye on you. And then you show up and you're literally on deck with the enemy. He goes, these guys hate you. They're trying to figure out right now why you're not bowing to the robot thinking it's me. I'm like, you should just stop turning off time, turn it back on and show them what's up. He's like, oh, we are. And he just turned it back on. And I was like, there he is. And they've lost their shit. It was like just horror show news for them. He's like, yeah, you can't be here. And we just bounced. I was like, that was crazy, bro. So no, they don't never looked. And then the angel I met in my backyard looked like a light being, but he was like silverish, golden. He was dope looking. And we did this. And I melded with him. I tried to pull away. I said, oh, get off me. There was no wings or nothing, but I also saw the AI mimics of angels. So the bubble, the 3D, the trap, the fake holographic matrix around us. It looked like a cathedral to me, not really a bubble, right? And inside the cathedral, up on the ceilings, things are painted that are pretty crazy, right? So it was just like that there. And then angels were coming off the paintings and they looked fake and they'd fly in. And then real angels would break through from the other side and they would go and have the system would attack them. The things inside the cathedral would attack them. One side of the cathedral was the projection. And all the way on the other side was the AI projecting. So it was crazy. It's like the eye of Sauron. Everyone's watching the projection and not the eye. And I'm like, you guys want to look? That's like when I walked up to that point in front of the eye and I saw the crack. And they were like, don't go to the crack. You got to make sure nothing comes through. That's why you're going to go there. And I'm like, why don't we just fix the crack? And they were like, don't go near the crack. It's scary. This thing's happening. And I walked over and took a look. Right? I just was like, well, I guess you guys are weak. No intestinal fortitude for you guys, huh? And I took a look and I said, there's freedom out here. Wait a second. This is a trap. And I had to come right back in. And beings saw that. They heard me scream and just flew out. They started flying and they were removing like one brick at a time and running with it. There's a lot of people in that cathedral, man. A lot of beings, and a lot of beings that are harvesting the other beings, and other beings doing things that have nothing to do with any of us, but they're here doing their thing and they're mixed right in with us. It's like all levels and all things are happening all around us all the time. So you would think that, like one guy's got it right. No, I don't see everything. I see enough from my perspective to get myself in a position. And when I have enough information, I'm told to talk. So I'm like, all right, cool. That's why I stayed back for a while. We got to go through this, but my conversation with you, unless that's kind of like what people are looking for, would seem ill compared to stuff other people are putting out. That seems very informative. Some of it's pretty fleek and weak. Some I can't trust at all. Some I do trust, but never 100%. That's all. I don't resonate with 100% of anything any one person says. So that's cool. I get to bring my 2 cents to the table as well. And I choose to do it this way, and the conversations are great, but working it out sometimes is brutal. So the energy around Michael. So Michael looked to me. This is what he looks like to me. He looks like brown hair. Thank you.
Oh.
You almost took my whole arm.
Oh, sorry. Busy.
He had no shirt on, total white wings. So we talk about Anunnaki. This thing's in my face. Wait a second. Come over here. We talk about Anunnaki size, right? What's Anunnaki size? Well, to me, he looked like a guy about 12 feet tall, Hercules build. And then he has gauntlets, I guess. I don't know what to call them. They're not gloves, but they're like wraps, right? And he has them on both hands. I've seen him with no shoes and shoes. He's covered up front, so it's like a guy. He's like a big man, angel, but that's how I see him. I'm sure we depict him as a million other things, but okay, so you feel complete opposite and so different from. I think I got what you're saying too, like the energy that comes off of him. So there's his look, right? And he's got brown hair. He's kind of Hasselhoffish, but not. I should have never said that because I was just playing around. But it is kind of like that. He's jacked out of his mind. His muscles. He's got a sword that he could pull out. He's got a shield. The energy he gives off is so specific. It makes you feel safer than anything's ever made you feel ever. Like so safe. Like, oh, time out. Mike's here. Like brother Michael's here. You got to let him come in. And everything stops. It's very important if he's here. Like everything. Almost like he has control of the whole thing. Maybe he does. I don't know. See, irrelevant shit is irrelevant shit. So when people are like, yo, I'm from Lyria and I'm Lyran, and then I was a snake being and I'm resetting everything. And then I'm like, yo, that's all great. It's 100% irrelevant to what I need to do to level up in this place. So if I listen to like Ishmael Perez go on about fucking stories that'll never help you here, and then make up stories, which I know he's got some good stuff, man. And then I'm going to just do what I said on the show the other night with Joe. I said to him, I'm under, and they're like, yo, you could meet anyone. Who do you want to meet right now? Take a moment, think about it. Anyone you want. It's like a freebie. So I said, oh, I want to meet Perseus. I was watching Clash of the Titans the night before, and that's like the only movie I like that guy in too. I can't. No, Harry. No, not that.
Oh, that's the original.
It's George Hamlin, and then it's
No, it's Harry.
Is it Harry?
Yeah.
Harry Hamlin? No, not that version. The other.
Oh, Sam Worthington.
Sam Worthington. So it's the only movies I like him in. And they're like, yeah, that guy is great. So I go, yeah, can we meet him? I want to meet him and be like, yo, if any of that story is just cool, just tell me your story. But I want to know, is any of that real? And they're like, well, we can't introduce you to him because he's not real. So we'll make him up for you right now. And I saw like the computer making him. I was visually saying, they're like, what? How tall should he be? And then they said, I'm like, no. I'd rather meet somebody that was real. And they're like, oh, you like him because it's you. And I'm like, I'm not Perseus. I'm not a fisherman and all that stupid shit. They're like, no. Every one of you is Perseus that goes on the hero's journey. Right. And I was like, oh, makes total sense. So it's like the Horus. And they're like, so it was explained to me like the percentages that come off the lowercase g gods to us. So you have these tall Anunnaki guys, they come down here and they start pumping out kids, right? So if they mix it, they're gigantic. So having a 25-foot god, lowercase g dad, he's not actually having sex with the woman. They're mixing genetics. That next kid, because he mixed the genetics with a human woman that's DNA is a certain way, you get a giant, or you get a guy with 50% power as, let's say, the dad. So even the height gets cut, doesn't get bigger, it gets smaller. Then you hear stories of people like Hercules. You're like, Hercules? They're like, yeah, Hercules, man. So Hercules is like a quarter, right? He's like between the two. And I'm like, oh, look at him. He looks like this other guy. He looks like Archangel Michael, actually. If you look at him, you just add wings, and it's basically the same guy. And then he talks about Conan. He's like, Conan went to Crom in the movie. Who's Crom? Why is he praying to Crom as a god? Who's this guy? He stumbles actually upon him in the movie, and he falls into the grave with him. And there's a giant 25-foot tall skeleton Anunnaki holding his sword like this. Conan goes running up on it and takes the sword. That's why it's the two-handed sword. That's why everybody likes the sword. It's like, oh, he's so big. So he's like, yeah, he's as strong as 20 men. So he's like a quarter less than Hercules. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then they're like, and then it gets to the percentage where you're like Perseus, and then it's the regular man, and then you make the comeback. So that's just gene activation, DNA activation. So as you activate your genes and go crystalline, you start pumping back the other way. That's why people are like, yo, while you're crazy on the other end, you're going to level up intensely. And the level up is supposed to happen here in this space. Whatever this space you're in, the level up is where it's supposed to happen. So it might not be in the same space as me. You might do it before me. You might do it after me. You might do it around me, and I don't know nothing about it. Or I know everything about it and can't do shit about it. Or completely can do something about it and have fun with it. Right? So it's random. I don't know. Everyone's different, and not everyone's going to do it right now. But everyone gets a chance to do it. That's why that 3D train thing is so important to understand. The people that stay on the 3D train are just, they're not ready to go. They're not done yet. They didn't heal the trauma. It's not that you're being rejected. You don't graduate. You're not being left back. They're like, you go to summer school, or you don't go to summer school. You just go keep learning until you get it. The thing is, that could be just a couple of years, a week, a day, 3 months, 10 years, another lifetime. Like, I don't know. No. That's what she said.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, nobody gets left behind, but no, we're not all going together. Like, you got to still remember this is nature. Things eat in nature other things. So some people are here to watch. Some people are observing the situation and going, and some people are observing and doing nothing and staying and dying. Some people are just going to witness. Some people are going to participate. Right? And everyone's going to participate differently and according to their contractual agreement that they made prior to coming here. It's done in a higher place, so it can't be responded to by people like me. I can only talk for mine, right? Which is crazy. It's like, holy shit, this is nuts. And it's like, yeah, it's nuts. It's easier if you do the work now, because now we're here. See, we get into a point where I can't say things like, that's why I played Capacitor tonight before the show, the song from Sons of the Sun. Nobody's going to save you now. Right? And you could go back and check Heist Click songs. You got to save yourself. We were talking about it in 2001, and just kind of from a different perspective. It had nothing to do with ayahuasca. Just a bunch of guys doing hip hop songs that came out like this. Right? And it was all, you listen to it now, you're like, wow, it's pretty relevant. Would you guys write that last week? It's like, no, we wrote that years ago. We didn't even know. We knew, but we didn't know. Does that make sense? Like, it came out in the song, and everyone gets to write their part. So once they heard the first guy that dropped his thing, they were like, oh, and then the next guy wrote crazier shit. Whoa, the third guy, he just blows everyone's mind. And you're like, yeah, if you listen to what everyone's saying, it's just, if you're not doing the work, it's going to be difficult later on. Plain and simple. You can metaphorically connect it across the board to everyone and everything. Why is it relevant now? Because it never is not going to be relevant. It'll always be relevant to those in the 3D mindscape. They'll be like, oh, they were so ahead of their time. It's like, dude, what have you done? That song's been out for 20 years. Oh, I'm just hearing it for the first time. Ah, kindergarten. Welcome to the show. See you around, kid. Meet you at the top. By the time you get there, I'll have been teaching 20 years. It's okay. I'll see you soon. Right? Like if you have to leave family members behind or whatever that means. I don't know what this means. But I've heard some stories recently from people that were actually up and moving and doing things where you're like, well, that's pretty literal. Right? If you go to someplace else in the world where things are done completely different, that's like another dimension. I'm convinced it's dimension jumping. Everything has different laws, different whatevers. But people, when they say dimension, they mean like laws of physics and crazy shit. Absolutely. They're all over the place. You know, you could do like DMT forever and be like, show me dimensions. And they'll just keep showing them to you and you'll never see all of them. You'll see so many, you won't know what to go back to reference. That's how many there. It's just infinite. It's made so because there's other beings, I'm convinced, plugged in on a different level, not in here. I don't think it's in the holographic universal structure. Outside of that, the wing makers, they call them, but they're not wing makers. They're the guys that if you were born with the power of God in each and every one of us, capital G, capital S source, and we were like little weirdo guys, and they were like, we take them at a young age and we allow them to plug into the holographic system. The reality will put them under. They come in as gods, right? And then lose everything. They completely lose everything. In the free will universe, they drop, they descend. They have full amnesia, have no clue what's going on, and all this other shit has been going on in between, and they have amnesia, so nobody remembers, right? And then all of a sudden, they make the ascent back, climb back up, and they start to unlock and start to remember. Then you get your powers and abilities back a little bit at a time, and you're like, wow, I didn't have this, so I'm glad I had this happen, and now I have total respect for it. And then you level up through the game to level 12, density 12, and you pop back out on the other end, which could be an infinite amount of time here, and then you wake up there, and you're just it could be a month later, a week later, a day later. I mean, it's school. Say you go there until you're another age, from this age to that age, and you just plug in and you're in the tank. And then as soon as and you're in the holographic matrix, you have your contract, everything's written up. We understand what you need at the school. Now, what if that was presented everywhere on that layer and that level? So you could just go to these places and plug in and have these school type experiences to learn about whatever. So because that there's an infinite amount of beings and it all happens now and everyone's getting to do whatever they need to do to spiritually level up. When you came out and you got up out of the tank, you would have full use of your abilities. You wouldn't go around like if you had a bad thought about someone, like, I wish you would go jump in a lake. And then you're so strong, they would just go jump in a lake. They'd go find one, go jump in. They'd probably not make it. They'd unalive. You can't walk around doing that, right? Like when me and Shaman Jimmy and I had these experiences where they put him in one room, they put me in another room, right? This was under the same day. We drank ayahuasca at the same time. We're in two different states. And they said, hey, think of something you want, that you like. One thing. That I was standing with like a robed being, and he said, just one thing. I said, oh, a squirrel. I like squirrels. And the squirrel came running up. And then I started adding things. Oh, a little jet t-shirt, little helmet thing would look cool. And then I'm like, no. I got a better. The squirrel comes and another squirrel, and another squirrel, another. And before I knew it, there was infinite amounts. And my thought was running like, what's happening at that point? And there were squirrels everywhere. And he goes, enough. And it stopped. All the squirrels disappeared. It was just me and this guy in the room. And he's like, you see what I mean? You got to hold the thought. I go, that's impossible. He goes, right now it's impossible. I'm like, well, are you connected to whatever it is we're doing? He goes, yep. I go, and you're not manifesting anything? He's like, nope. How the fuck you doing that? Like, I'm just looking at you in 6 ways to Sunday. I have a billion questions. I just want to reach out and grab and touch and dance and let me touch your hair. And how did you get that on you? And what is this? And what are you wearing? And like, and he's like, calm down, relax, look at your buddy. So I look over and there's shit, literal shit everywhere. And they're yelling at him, get the mop, you fucking clean this up. And then he's like thinking he has to actually use a mop to clean it. And then he just snaps out of it and it's all gone. And I said, what the fuck happened? And he goes, oh man. I was like, yo, I'm the shit. And there you go. They're like, that's not a good thought. You're shit. And then there's poop everywhere. And he's like, they made me clean that. I'm like, yeah, I had to clean up the squirrel. So at least it wasn't that. And there was other people doing it as well. So it's obvious there's training going on. Obviously, there's things going on that we're unaware of and that we don't remember the next day. And we think we're dreaming it and that couldn't have happened. And I don't remember. And you get so locked into your reality. Now, that's your suit. So the flesh suit locks you into the experience. So as you unlock your true DNA, you're supposed to be able to just evolve. We're so far behind in the evolution that you're being allowed to evolve quickly. More quickly. But you don't just evolve by sitting on your couch. If you're just sitting there waiting for the day to Jesus to come, you're going to die and Jesus is not coming. Because Space Jesus will be the first to tell you, when you stub your toe, you yell Jesus Christ. And when I stub my toe, I yell Frankie Christ. And I'm like, that's pretty funny. And he's like, you guys don't get it yet. We're all the same. I'm just the one that was ahead of you. That's all. So in 200 years, 2,000 years, are they going to talk about like David Icke and you guys and Alex Jones and all and just add Christ next to it to one of you that, just anyone they could just pick and be like, whichever one try to break free. I'm like, wow, that's fucking crazy. Okay, so the desire to hide and stay in the comfort zone when you know internally everything bothers you, you might need medication, you feel really like nothing's ever happening, and I guess I'll believe in it when I see it. You are standing in the river with a rock. You want to drop that rock and get in one of the boats, or at least float downstream wherever the river's going. Why would you fight the river? Are you fucking stupid? Are you mad? You mad at yourself? What's wrong with you? Are you trying to suffer? Yeah, but this, that, there. I'm not your therapist. I don't want to fucking hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm just like everyone else. I'm compassionate, but you don't need therapy. You need to heal yourself. If you're still yelling at me or telling me that it's the other person and I bet you if I go to that other person and go, hey, what'd this person do? They'll drama school. That's why they call it drama school. You got to rise out of that 100%. I know it's hard sometimes too, man. I want to post some stuff online just to be rude and mean-spirited. And I don't do it. I refuse to do it. It's hard not to. I've been shadow banned and I make jokes about it all the time. Just since the beginning. I hit 1,600 subscribers and it stopped. It was years ago. You're telling me in all these years I didn't get anybody? Give me a fucking break. All right, but we can't sit there and complain. Well, I wish I did it differently. No, I'm telling the story. It's a story. You tell the story. You move on. You revisit when it's necessary. So you remind people, look, the information's out there. I might have explained it even better there. Some stuff. I think I misspoke on a few things in the very beginning because of the language. I didn't have the full language, so I kind of like metaphorically just connected it to other stuff when obviously each thing is its own thing and everything is real. I didn't know that in the very beginning. Like I knew it's all got to be there, but then all the perspectives have to be there, and then all this has to be there. Like our job is to not judge it. It's just to like kind of observe it, look at it, and step away from it. You get smarter and things work better as you pull away. Like I'm feeling it with the social media thing. I'm really upset. I noticed that I spent most of my time just talking to Kevin and talking shit online and just doing music for months and months and months. And now his computer's down. I haven't talked to him like in a month normally the way I have. And it's really just, I'm like, oh man, my friend's gone. It's just a funny feeling. So when I'm on there, I'm not using it. I share stuff and I do stuff. I try to get you excited. Like I'm sharing some information, whether you believe it's real or not. If I'm sharing it for you or to the group or even on my page, sometimes I'm like, it's not like I'm posting songs I don't like or an article I don't believe covers the topics. It covers it perfect. Oh, Tim Pool did an interview with Alex Jones and a couple other dudes, Luke Radowski. So I didn't want to watch it, but I did, but because Alex is on the show. I love Alex Jones. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. And I know the position he plays, whether it's the enemy has to tell you what they're doing to you at all times. It's part of the ritual. It's part of the black magic. So they have they leave Alex Jones out there screaming, and he's getting 99% of it correct. Even if it's not 99%, it's 98%. Everything that Alex Jones was right, jaw. Well, that's all coming back because he's told, well, even if he's controlled by the enemy to be against the people, he's not really against the people. What they're doing is culling dummies. So this brings me to the next thing that's going on with them, like the evil plan of the enemy, right? They're just culling the dummies. They're telling you what they're doing and then doing it. And you're like, they would never do it. It's a conspiracy. Well, you'll be gone. You'll have cancer. You'll have AIDS you got from vaccines, right? You're going to get all kinds of shit. Your kin, and every time you pump out a kid, it's going to come out crooked and crossways because of what you decided. And because they told you what they were going to do. You have Alex Jones screaming it, and you're like, well, that guy's a dummy. You think the gay frogs is a joke now with all the transgender shit going on? You think that men aren't feminized? It's not been 20 years since he said that, 10 years. Look it up. So even if he works for the enemy, they have to tell you what they're doing. So you hear what they're doing, you look into it if it concerns you, and you make your moves appropriately. Right? That's it. That's why I even said Ishmael Perez has some cool stuff. And then he tells you 90% of shit you don't need. It doesn't matter. Everyone's the king of fucking Lyria, bro. I'm never going to be able to check that one. But when I went in to see you, that's not what you were. Right? So you telling a fucking story? I'm going to let you tell your story. I'm going to leave you alone because I scare everyone now. It's gotten to the point where it's like, God damn. My clients will tell you, though, people I work with, they'll be like, yo, you're, and I'm like, shh, it's no big deal. Right? So I was trying to explain this the other night on the show. So Horus is the hero's journey, is also an archetype for that, is also a real guy, an energy that brings forth all of that, and a real being. And I am that as well. The suppression is in full thickness. It's all cool. Everyone's trying to reset. Set would be trying that. Uncle Set has been trying to reset everything for the longest time. Right? But we're here to take it back. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Right? All stuff that doesn't matter. but it's just a cool little juicy nugget. What you really need to do is juicy nugget yourself. It's the most important thing. You want UFOs and spaceships and all kinds of cool shit. You better be able to discern everything on all levels. You better get rid of your demon as well, because that will make the process so uncomfortable. And you better expel this stuff. But what happens to the people around you that just won't listen and you're trying? You stop trying. That's what they told me. Don't do it. What are you trying to do? You're trying to save someone? Yous are all holding hands now, just going through this. So it's just like a talk, but everyone else is already saying it, right? I go back and check and I go, oh, look, I'll talk about it. And I'll try to judge from me. And then all of a sudden, Elizabeth April's talking about it. Allison Coe gets another one, just pops up randomly out of nowhere. She hadn't done anything in 2 years. All of a sudden, boom, there's one. Oh, David Wilcox came out of nowhere and just started doing stuff. Right. I was trying to explain to people at the time, Alex Jones and Corey Good, people like that have to say it was a lie or they made it up, even if they didn't make it up, because what they're doing can be flipped on its back at all times in a court of law. Can't own certain things. Just can't. Okay, well, it's in my imagination. I'm going to get sued for $100 million billion. Yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I have children and I'm just really stressed. Guaranteed. People are still people, man. They're still human beings. They're not fucking God people yet. You become your own capital everything. Capital S. So the enemy's plan is to get everyone now locked into that 3D scenario. They wanted you to, for their evil plan, they wanted to cull population to 500,000 people. I don't know if that's America or worldwide. Very easy to control that amount of people. However, those people will not be NPCs. They will not be ETs. They will not be cloned bodies. That 500,000 is going to be all creators. See, what happens is when you have 10 people on the planet, we were discussing this the other day. Hi, baby girl. You have 10 people on the planet, and if you're manifesting and creating your own reality, right? Jones and Tim Pool got into this end of the pool. This is why it was such an awesome conversation. I listened to the whole thing. I was like, oh, geez, you guys are on point. If there's 10 people on the planet, and you're manifesting your own reality, you're doing 1/10 of the manifesting of the reality. As that population grows, all right, and there, but mind you, you share with the other 10, right? It's like everything everyone's doing is blending together, and it's agreed upon as a social construct on even a spiritual level, and it's manifesting like that, and you're getting rainbows and unicorns and all kinds of cool shit. You're getting magic. Then you're at like 7.8 billion people on the planet, and the water is muddy as it gets, right? And there's social constructs now based on your visual only, and because you're told to, and then everyone agrees to it, and it's propping up that system. And some people they just don't know any better. So it muddies out the water of any of that magic, right? But you still have to manifest the reality for the elite. And what does that mean? I'm going to tell you, they cannot manifest this themselves. The archons can't do it. We're the creator beings are the only ones that can fucking do it. That's it. So what they do is unmuddy the water through means that no one can control, like a virus in nature that just takes over and gets everyone, and earthquakes and fires in places that no earthquakes, no fires, and pole shifts and all. Everything's really wrapped around the timing of what happens naturally to make it look like. So they make it look like the elites make it look like to us, it's somehow biblical in nature, and like God is somehow judging you and people, and then this is what's happening. So they get it down to the 500,000 mark ish, and then they go and teach those people a certain way to go into the future. Like, we're gonna, okay, so this is what happened. We're gonna have to take our next steps, and then so genetically, they're gonna only have the ones they want, right? So the next round of people that come into this world, if the parents are removed from those babies, those kids don't know anything but what they're taught. Period. So you can reteach everyone a new lesson that allows the masses, the remaining set of the creator being people, to manifest the reality for the pure blood elites, which pure blood doesn't mean shit. Source is everything. So you want everything, not just pure blood. You want the all blood, right? So it doesn't mean anything, because obviously you are all inbred at that level. So the pure blood isn't, it's pure because you guys keep doing the wrong thing. You're making it like it's a good thing, but it's not. It's like you're ruining your evolution, which is why you use us. They're almost like vampires. They feed on us, and then they need us to manifest the reality so they can have it and move forward. Paul, can I ask a favor? I want coffee. I have water here. I'm pretty sure I warmed it up and then I never got back to it. Tell me you love me. Thank you so much. Just one. Right? So you got to understand the all gene. You're on the planet all. It's the living library. We're here. And for you to be here, the creator being, this needs to be the living library. It needs to be the everything, which is why you have to have done everything before you could come here and ascend through this process. Some people are just coming to witness. Some aren't going to make it. Some people will watch it and not make it. Some people will watch it, not believe it, be part of it, make it. Some people won't believe it and be wound up in running through the streets naked, and then just wake up in their bed and not remember anything. All kinds of crazy shit's going to go on per individual person. So all of this was done to lock us in that bubble originally, the 3D bubble, the matrix, to allow them to benefit off of our abilities. Thank you. So they would teach that new round of people a way to do that without telling them they're doing that. They would be confused. They would just do what they're to do, because that's how they would think reality is. And then all these other beings would benefit, the elites. I don't know what else called, the cabal. Reggie, Madu. Their family tree is a branch. Yes. And we are the tree. Each one of us is an individual tree. Okay. So they would confuse those people by teaching them what they want. They have a lesson already prepared, because remember, this comes from beings outside of this. And then now those 500,000 will live a certain quality of life, probably in fear most of the time. The distractions and disruptions in their stuff that wish for a better life, but then seeing like celebrities having a great time. As you prop that up, that celebrity gets celebritized and becomes more and has a better time, when you should be using that manifestation on you. It's yours. It's not theirs. Fuck out of here. See, that's the other timeline. So what they do is they drip you and go transhumanism. And they start with the transhumanism agenda, and they do something like, well, it'll help a dude walk. We'll put it in your spine. We'll put it in the brain. We'll put it in your ass. We'll put it in all different places on you, and you become smarter, faster, stronger, faster, but not spiritually in any of this stronger or better or more evolved. But you'll be like, yo, I'm more evolved. I'll be like, okay, so you're the AI basically I'm up against. Well, you'll never be 5D. right? So I'm from like fucking 15D. If you want to put it like, I'm from out of here. I'm not from here. I came from the other octave down here to see what was going on and go through this experience again. As apparently I've been here before. It's all just now moments over and over and over and over. So you'll be super smart inside that up to from 1 to 4D, super smart, super fast, super this, super that. You can't go into 5D. Once again, 2 men in a field, 1 gone. It's not going to work. I'm not going to be part of it. I'm not here for that. So there's a difference when they roll it out and for a good thing. Oh, it'll help whatever, bionic arms, bionic body parts. I get it. It could be very helpful for sure. And it comes in under the disguise of that. And then if you're like, oh my God, but the next thing it does is terrifyingly and has full control over everything and we're fucked. It's like they start calling you a racist or something. What is this? Let me just check in on. Have you listened to Jason from Mechanics and his ideas about this? No, I have not. So we're going to break away from the AI, right? And then 1,000 years from now, I know this is part of that story you can't really check right now, but in 1,000 years, you get back to me because I'll still be here rocking and fucking rolling. We're going to have to face the AI down and the transhuman. See that the timeline doesn't disappear. It does this. And then it fully creates itself. So those that want to experience that, go to it. I want to put a super eyeball with the connection in my head. I got a drone and 6 other ways to whatever. Let me tell you what, your consciousness is going to be downloaded. You're going to pray for death at some point and not find it. Men will pray and not be able to die because you're going to be that now. And that goes on for a long fucking time. You have fun getting your way out of that system. Talk about coming into this system and it's hard. Or building VR goggles at this point. You literally have it inside of you. There'll be dual action full-time shit taking you over. And at any time, they could do anything to you. They could be like, okay, you've been around too long. Bip, shut you off. And then just keep you there. And then jump your soul in circuitry and digital. Flop it into something else that it wants you to do. You can wake up inside of that and be like, how do I get out of here? Well, you don't. You have to do what you're being forced to do. This is terrifying. At no point is that shit fun. So you could tell me all day that you could see 8 miles from here and fucking hear something because, you know, they put an implant in you, or you could lift a car with your bionic arm. That's fucking cool. The minute Neuralink is in you or of anything like that at any kind, you cannot be fucking trusted. Nope. At any time you could just turn on me. They don't, you know, you think they're going to build Ultron or the Terminator, and they kind of are. They're making it like, oh, but they're really turning you into that, into the fucking Borg. So that's going to be knocked out by the solar flash. And then the timelines are going to split. I don't know how this works. There's a static box that's up. I can't see into it, but I could see on the other side of it. I could see all around it. The other beings there, they're like, you're not allowed in there. There's nothing in there yet. Like, their source is like, no one's allowed to know how it happens, because every single person has an individual experience. So how are we supposed to fucking, well, I want to know about me. Okay, well, we showed you 86,000 fucking times how it happens. If the audience and the people listening don't believe in it at this point, don't worry about it. You can't save anyone. However, you can take from the story what you want and what you will and add it to your own, because you're the real rock star. It's you. This whole thing ends with you becoming awesome. That's why I don't even care no more. I'm like, you're just awesome. You just look at you. You're all. You're everything. That's it. The message is easier at the top, but much harder. You love yourself more. Just, do in service of yourself. You have to, but you're really doing service to others. I even asked what was the chalk? Cock? No, chalk. There's an L in it. Chalk? Home Depot comedy. I don't even care anymore. Like, we can only do what we're going to do, and then it's up to you to go into your heart and then expand from the inside, because it's all on the inside. You fucking piece of shit. No, I'm just kidding. Clean up your act. Come on. We're in the final act of the play. Dude, you're like, there's the finish line, and you see the flags, and you obviously see you might win this race, and then you're like slowing up and you just start waving to people, and here comes all the fucking rush cars. You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, because you think you won already. Your mother was a loser. Your father was a loser. We thought it would skip you, but it didn't. That's terrible. That's terrible. No, none of us are losers. We're all winners. And this is the game. Okay, so here's another thing they're saying. Remind them, it's a school. There's different classes. So you got kindergarten through 8th grade, let's say. And then after 8th grade, you got high school, 4 years. Then you got college, 4 years. Doctor, whatever, you add the years. So if the universal structure is set up that way, where are you in all of that? You think you're up here? Has anything triggered you today? Because the minute something triggers you, you realize you ain't shit. You're doing it all wrong. So this is the important part. So I want in. I'm not trying to pretend to get in. To be the example, I have to do this. I'm right there alongside of everyone else. I just had the little step above, but it was a catch up that I had to do. Right? I didn't write a book. I didn't even read a book about this. I had zero reference. Just met everyone, and then they were like, and I came back and was like, yo, I got to Google some stuff. I don't know what to do. And I just started typing in descriptions of things, and then boom, there they were. And I'm like, wow, so this has been there the whole time. I'm not really uncovering any massive truth. It's been here the whole time. They're like, we never gone anywhere. You guys need to fucking evolve now. Now, stop it. Just what's the most important thing?
Stop it.
Everyone gets to do it, and you can do it at your level. But those that don't want to repeat function, you don't want to repeat one of the grades, now's not the time for that shit. Trust me. We all came here for this moment. So those that need to hear this message, I guess, is aligned with the message and is hearing it. Right? And it's up to you to anchor the energy. There's so many things you're doing. It's unbelievable that we worry about if we're from, we jump back like 6 lifetimes and we're like, oh, this is crazy. I'm a robot. And, Phil is a Frankenstein creature. And this woman's aquatic. And this guy's a fucking scorpion, man. Look at that. And we fly around in a starship to what we're doing here. That other stuff's irrelevant. It's cool. It's cool as fuck. What is it helping? It's just another story of a king that's domination. It's here to help. I'm the king from the planet. Like, I can't take it no more. We're all kings. We're all queens. All right. Just get it together. Hold it together, people. So prepare. This is the last part. You got to prepare for a little bit because we're not doing that other timeline that we were just talking about a little while ago, where we're going to go techno organic or whatever. Like if that's something you want to do, go off and do it. I'm not even going to debate with you. Fuck off. Right? The metal is going to densify you. You're going to be held here in a digital sense, right? You think you'll be quantum man, but you're not. That's not how it works. You get taken over. It's the villains in Doctor Strange were like, Dormammu offers infinite life. You don't ever have to die. And he was like, did you looked at your face? This place must be terrible where you're like, I don't know what kind of infinite life. And at the end, they kept telling these guys, the guy's not what you think. The guy's not what you think. He's not offering you infinite life. He's just offering you the ability to help him take over other people's lives. The minute that you're not useful anymore, boop, you go, torture. Your soul's tortured forever, off in the corner. And it's like, damn. And it's like, you get caught up in that ego shit. You're done. I got the power and I'm so powerful. Yeah. Whatever. We don't have no time for that. I don't have time for it. We should all be just creating and shutting down. So I don't really care about any of this. I don't drink, but Budweiser and Bud Light, they got balls to even call themselves beer. But who gives a shit? Nobody cared. Nobody cared when they took Aunt Jemima. Nobody cared about the Indian girl on the Land O'Lakes. And all this other shit, and all of a sudden it's a trainee on Bud Light, and everyone fucking loses their mind. They make a male woman of the year. The women aren't pissed off enough, right? The men got a whole sled of other problems. They're being feminized, and they're turning women into like men, and nobody wants that shit. That's why nothing's working, right? You can't scream, love me for what I am at the top of your lungs at somebody who's trying to love you. That's never going to work. Love me for what I am. I'm beautiful. Fuck off. Right? Just be you and stop it. Drama queen. Both sides of that fucking fence. We won't know, Shell, with the people who are brain chipped and who's not. How are you going to know? How are you going to know anything? This is what I'm saying. They're mixing it up to make it look biblical. Like, no, we don't know what happened, but when they're totally safe and protected, and we're not. But when they're used up, they're gone as well. So now when the lights go on, circle back real quick to the beginning of the show. Does it turn into They Live at the end of the movie when the broadcast goes off? The person next that could be right here on the bus or something is whatever. It could be anything dressed just like you. And now it's like a lizard man or a little gray ET, but you saw Ralph. And then all of a sudden it's not Ralph. There's this guy. And he's like, no, I'm Ralph. What are you talking about? You're like, obviously you're a fucking mess. Where are you from? Then it becomes a Man in Black moment. And why do you think they're making these movies and showing you these things? Because they have to tell you the whole thing. So I'll tell you a story real quick, and it's like really cool. It's a sci-fi fantasy action movie with animation done in multiple dimensions. Right? It involves everything ever created. Because it's all real, and art imitates life and life imitates art. So it's all happening at the exact same time, at the same moment, everything that you're seeing. The Back to the Futures, the Star Wars, the Star Treks, Laverne and Shirley, Dune, whatever, The Matrix. It's all happening at the same time. In all different places at once. It's been things that you will feel like you would say, well, Frank, I was part of this then. Yes, but that's happening now. So you are correct and I am correct. You see how that works? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Lucky Gypsy, sending you love and positive vibes. I'm glad you made it. And Shell, thank you so much. I love you. Now sending positive vibes to you. Thank you so much. So I kind of don't remember where I was. I'm thrown off. I'm getting emotional. I stopped smoking tobacco again because I don't have any more clients for a while, and I don't really need to smoke anything except some weed. So I've been a little I don't know, filled with the fire. So yeah, so it's all happening now. So you say, well, future Frank he's saying it's Horus, right? But I'm also Horus, correct? But it's also him, yes, correct. But it's also the experience, yes, it is, totally. And you're like, whoa, right? Holy shit, it's all fucking real. It's all happening. So I can't downplay like your experience from my experience, because you could be witnessing something from a level that I just obviously cannot see at the time, or can, and I could disagree with you. But guess what? You're in your own universe and I'm in mine, universal construct. So you could literally be seeing it and I'm just not. This place is crazy. It's meant to divide us as a school structure to come back. It just happened to be taken over. There's like an artificial 3D thing that occurred. And people want to call it the bubble or the snow globe. It's the frequency. And we got trapped in it. And they just, like, as soon as you got to the top, bing, you go down. You're like, bro, but I graduated. And it's like the cycles are looping and the cycles are looping. The cycles are looping. Why do I keep coming back here lifetime after lifetime? That's why we have so much trauma. But when you send source, we could play the game, right? I said that to the reptilians. I'm like, they're like, we'll eat you. And I'm like, and I'll come back. Eventually, I'm going to be something. I'll be something more, someone more, right? Like I could keep doing this forever, infinitely. Now, do you want me showing up all the time? Like I can harass you on so many different levels, and they're just like, nope. Because infinitely, you can't do shit because you're going to disappear. If you're not another creator being just playing a part, then you're something else that's written into the program. So that's for naught. I'm the programmer. If you're a program, sorry. You know, at the end of the day, you got the show's over. Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny, they go. They're off the channel until the next time they're on. Whereas I'm infinite. I'm going to be on every fucking station at all times. It's just what I choose to focus on. Because I'm the radio, the receiver, the antenna, and the consciousness that seeks that shit. It's crazy. Thank you guys so much. I'm just peeping up at the chat room and making sure I'm not missing anybody's stuff. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Oof. I'm like blasting off right now in frequency. Like I'm so intense with my own stuff because I can't, everything I'm on Facebook right now, right? So I'm going to look at some stuff and then it's going to drive me up a fucking wall. All right. And then I go, well, isn't that what the enemy wants? To distract me because I'm powerful. Well, what can I do right now? Well, I have a list of shit, even though I've been getting so much shit done, that when I'm like, oh, I'm bored, I just don't want to do that. I literally forgot that I had the other list and I would have been doing stuff. And because KG was down and I took some time to do some stuff and he's taking some time to do some stuff and I'm doing other things, I completely forgot that other list. And now I remembered and I'm like, oh, new door just opened. So it's like I'm always busy. I don't have time. I don't have time to bullshit. I don't have time to talk about the Yankee game. I didn't see it. I don't give a shit. I don't care. It's a young man's game, I guess. I have a whole other thing happening. I want to expand in directions. If I'm not expanding, at least like physically, mentally, I do it. That's why I'm powerful that way. My visuals are so clear. I was telling Paula, I'm like, just being in the room with my clients, we're so high frequency around the newer people that they can't handle it right away. By day 3, they're rocking and rolling and shit. But that uncomfortable weirdness, that's not uncomfortable weirdness. It's just you're in a lot, like it's like being at a carnival and all the lights, and you first come in and it's like, here's your popcorn, here's your drink, here's your whatever, your snow cone. We're gonna come on, go on the first ride, take it easy, don't go too crazy. And you go on, you're like, whoa, you still really don't know what's going on there, but you like it. You're like, yo, man, this is really cool. But if it's too much up front, frequency's too high, you can't handle it. So it pushes out in other ways. And then by the time you leave, you're rocking the frequency. We're dancing. We're like, dun, 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 dun. And everyone knows what's going on. They're like, that's what you meant. You raise your frequency to that level, and all of a sudden, bang, we're all dancing. Everyone's there. I'm like, they're right there watching us. And now it's not right there. It's like a overlay over us. This is what they were telling me yesterday. So the sun has been so ridiculous. I kind of got a little color. Yeah, look how white my skin is here. That I got yesterday and the day before. No, the day before. It was one day. It like burnt me, but didn't burn. It didn't burn, but it got crazy hot. And then the air condition, it was like 103 degrees in that bedroom. Fucking air condition broke. We were putting away winter clothes. I mean, everything we picked up was just snapping and falling. We have to call a plumber, an electrician. We have to throw out trash. There's cat throw up. I think that's I don't know what that is. Don't touch that yet. Put on a glove. Take this out. Clean the fan. Like, it's insane. But we're on the precipice now. So I pull away. I go into my zone. If I have to go down and sleep for a few days, I take some sun. Man, I go to sleep. So I'm not sleeping at night. And then in the morning, early, I'll get some sleep. Then I get up. I'm like just attracted to the sun. That's all I really want. It's like coffee, the sun, and a blunt, and Paula. Not in that order, just all together. And then we go outside. The cats all come out. We take the sun for a few minutes. We have like these magic moments. I go back to sleep. It kind of ruins the day sometime, but nobody's out there doing it. You like, what are you doing? If we weren't doing that, if you weren't upgrading yourself, like, I need to sleep, and then boom, an hour or two, wide awake, ready to get into the game again. And you're like, holy shit. So I don't know if a lot of people are feeling that way. Okay, so now Paul and I just had our 8-year anniversary. I have to touch a couple of clips still. So we're in the 8-year cycle. We just close. It's 8 years starting last week. So it loops because we closed. The 8 is an infinite loop. Okay. And we looped back as if it was the beginning of our relationship. So I can't really talk about certain things right now, but we had some beef around here, some problems. Get take shit down, move shit around, do some stuff. And it was really disheartening, especially when we're trying to grow stuff and plant stuff and do just loving things. All we're doing is helping and whatever. It's almost like we're always getting fucked with. And I don't want to push that forward because I'm not dealing with that shit no more. So we opted to, instead of standing on the hill and fighting, using the sword, to just removing yourself from the game. I'm here to observe. I'm not here to listen to this shit. So we just did what we had to do. And now it looks like the year we moved in outside. It was so beautiful out there. Everything was so awesome. And then they were like, we want it all gone. Whatever. And now we're sitting out there in the 2 chairs with our cats. We know the time is here. We've had situations where things are breaking around here. It's almost like our love isn't holding up the walls anymore in this old place. I painted 3 years ago. This whole fucking place needs to be painted again because everything chipped in all the other rooms. Like it looks like I never did anything. I'm like, how is this possible? It's just that it all started happening all at the same time. Right. Then the air condition went out. We were like, yo, what the fuck? Paul's car doesn't start. It was just like bang, 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 bang. Then it was, I stayed quiet because I had about 5 terrible things happen directly to me personally. Big. And I'm like, I don't care. My higher self helped me write this letter, send it out. I made the phone call, left a message, got them, whatever, did what I had to do, talked to who I had to talk to. It's my responsibility, my business. I'll handle it. That's it. Okay, that's not going to ruin my fucking life. I'm not going to get a response from this for 3 months. Get the fuck out of here. I'm going to sit here and fucking beg and wait. I'm not doing it. I don't want to be part of your system. I don't want to be part of your fucking crowd. We didn't come here for that. I'm here to have a good time just like everyone else. Except we're doing it all wrong. We got to break this system and it's going to fall apart. So you're going to have to prepare yourself. So in this 8-year loop cycle, we're repeating things that happened in the beginning that maybe got away from us. Maybe some stuff doesn't even have to do with us. It's just 8 years on the individual cycle too, because your own thing loops. So like, think of like ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, ex-partners, situations that were unresolved in life with family members, maybe businesses, maybe something with the law, maybe a new job or an ex job, or like you revisit it. And this is how it was explained to me. If you don't really have a reaction to it, no matter what it is, then you'll move through these things quickly again. And then you like recreate the loop. It's just you're revisiting them because it comes full circle, and you have to revisit it again. It's the cycle, and then if you're good to go, it goes quickly. It's like, oh, we got the gold, silver, Bitcoin. We got that conversation. The cats, they're fixed. They're this, they're that. The house, okay, this is going. So it's almost like we built up over the years this place. And then we hit like a point where it was like, oh, this place is our home. And then you realize it's not your home. Your real home is waiting for you there, but home is where your heart is. So you make it your home. But then all of a sudden you're getting pulled back the other way. And it's almost like a reverse of how you got to the top. Now you're leaving. And it's giving you straight reminders of what was happening at the beginning of the cycle. When you showed up and everything was in boxes, you leave and everything's in boxes. Right? And how you handle your shit. And it's going to come quicker, the quicker you're good with things. So as soon as you think, yeah, well, I'm fucking waiting. And then there's 80 things to do the next day. And you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. Because there's not enough time in one day to get all that done. It's like, well, I thought you didn't have nothing to do. It's like, obviously we're all full of shit. All of us. Think of it as you can't take a backpack through the eye of a needle. You have to pass through the eye and just leave the backpack. But once you pass the eye, you'll realize you don't need what's in the backpack. And the backpack is the weight of distractions, disruptions, and trauma, and all other kinds of stuff like that. Ego stuff, the 7 deadly sins, any of that shit will work to hold you back. But if you release that, you just squeeze through and you realize, why am I carrying a backpack when I'm the all? I'll just, boom, there's my backpack. I didn't need it to begin with. You're not going to forget nothing. You don't lose nothing. There's no one taking anything from you. You're getting it all back. Everything is coming back. It's coming back online. You make the choice, and then we go into it. So we've been revisiting all the crazy shit, and literally in a 2-week time span, it's been crazy. But this world has been upside down since Christmas, since the 21st of December to now. I don't know. Happy, not happy. Totally happy, not happy at all. Happy, not happy. 100% happy, 100% disapprove. You got to find balance in it. It's the best we got. I will never come back and do this shit again. I'm taking my UFO, my Starship with Paulie and the cats and my mother if she chooses, and we're getting the fuck out. However, once we get there, you realize you're only coming back to help, right? That's what this is all about. If this is a class and you've already passed it and it's like the end of the year, my college professors would be like, you already know it's on the fucking test. If you did your homework, you already know the answers. You literally already know it. So what I did, I played lacrosse, and I always had this like little 2-hour gap. I always made sure I had it. And every single day I would just go to the library, do my homework. And then at like fucking 3:00 was lacrosse. So I make sure everything was done. I set up my classes that way, everything. Just from hearing if you did your homework, it's all good. So I just did my homework at that thing every day. I was like, I did 3.8. I graduated. My family was like, what? I said, yeah, I didn't fail anything at all. I only fell short. And I had to take a statistics class, and I got a B+. And he was like, I would have given you the A, but you fucking got that answer wrong. I was like, I just put anything. I didn't care. I wanted out. Sometimes you just don't give a shit. Right. But if that's all it takes, then why not do it? It literally, when I got home, I never opened a book when I got out. Like, I went to lacrosse, and unless I had some kind of project where I had to make photocopies or do something, I was done till tomorrow. I don't give a fuck what it is. I don't care. I can't get it all done in one day. So if they give you an assignment that's due in next week, and they're like, oh, you should take 3 days and take 20 minutes each day and fucking do your report. Like, you do the next part of your report. I would do that and just see what would happen. I have it done in 2 days. And then that's it. I'm done. I don't have another thing to do but reread that. Okay, so now we're at the end of the year. Now we're here in the now moment in reality. And we're reading what we just did for the whole year. So we've already been categorized. We did it. And it's the 8-year review. So what happens is you wake up and you start going through like mental things, remembering this, going over that, seeing this, seeing that. Things that got you down then are getting you down now. You're like, how am I revisiting this bullshit? But things that get you up are getting you up now. And there's really new things. And there's so much many things to concentrate on. Oh, but that happened too. And that fucking sucks. Oh my God. Oh my God. So you can play pity party all day, or you can get up and move. Right. I was telling Paul, like, I can't worry about it no more. I just can't wait. Just get the fuck out of here with whatever. Like, I was getting letters from Workman's Comp and this and that. They're all fucking playing games. I didn't come here I'm not afraid of the paperwork. I did the paperwork to find out you don't know how to do fucking paperwork. Not me. It was them. And they're fucking clowns. And I finally got someone. And the lady was like, I need to know why this is, from your perspective, taking over a decade. And I said, because of everyone you work for is incompetent and doesn't do their job. And I grew up to be the inspector and the rapper and the this and the that. I gave her the whole spiel, just so it takes 10 fucking years for one of you to call me back. It took you 10 fucking years. You don't have a contact here? Nope. Take a look at the website. Oh, that's not supposed to be happening. You haven't seen a doctor since how long? Yep. Not that I want to go to one, but I do have a spine injury and a neck injury. You see, obviously, I fucking move like fucking Tim Burton's Batman. Give me a fucking break. Right? And they're like, well, that's illegal. Oh. That's what I said. thus that rained out into multiple things. And I had to realize that they're not doing their jobs and they're just douchey people like everyone else that doesn't want to do their fucking job, creating more messes across this planet. I can't let it upset me. It's going to bother me. Shit bothers me for a few minutes. And then I'm like, 8 years ago, I would have tried to choke someone or just take, I don't know, man. 8 years ago, I just started ayahuasca. So there was still the other part of me that right before the ayahuasca, I was still getting completely blitzed because of my injury. So I wouldn't care if I was taking all kinds of pills they were giving me just to walk. And it was just hurting me more. And then I had to like come out of that, not take those, and then go on tour because you can't be fucked up like that on the tour. At least I can't. And then go drink ayahuasca first before the tour starts. Like I had a whole fucking weirdo thing happen. I'm never going back. I'm only going to change for the betterment. I'm only going to help those that want to help themselves around me. I'm going to try to be as compassionate as I can. I could still go to 5D and say no straight through from here to there and just do me. You're allowed to do your thing. You're allowed to. When you do the self-care and the build up and the trauma and the release, on the other side of that is your space family, the star family, the inner earth beings, the up, the down, the left, the right. It's all there. It's right there. But if you don't, you're just not ready for like the upper classes yet. So you don't go until you, it's like a class that doesn't end. If you miss graduation, you just keep going. So there's no like mark against you. It's just, you're not ready. You know, things happen. You have in a free will environment and they're doing like I don't want to say it's a Sims, like a simulation, but like the Sims. But I could tell my higher self, like I ate a whole shitload of mushrooms one night, walked into my kitchen, begged I said, my highest self, come here to me, crying. I was losing my shit. I was like, I can't take this no more. He actually came down through me, came out in front of me. He was really fucking beautiful and tall. And he walked over. He's like, hey, what, you know, and I just punched him right in his face. I said, that's what you get for, and then I couldn't even finish my statement. He beat the brakes off me. He's like, you've had enough. You make me come out here like this. And you literally punched me in my face. I'm like, I hate you. I hate this place. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? And he was like, all right, check it out. I was a mess because he beat my ass. He beat me like Hulk when he grabbed Loki and he just bang, 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 bang. He throws him on the floor. That's what it felt like. And I was just broken and crying. And he's like, get up. Just get up. I got up and he showed me all this crazy shit about me and him. And then I was like, oh, why didn't you fucking say, they turned into, why didn't you say something? And he's like, you got to figure it out. I can't fucking tell you everything because you don't listen. If I say go left and you don't go left and you go right and you're like, yo, fuck this. I want to go right. I'm feeling I want to do this instead. Then go. I can't stop you. It's not part of the game. I can stop you, but I'm not going to. That's the free will environment. You're not allowed to really get involved in shit. It's like, damn it. Now I know. Put me back. I'm sorry. Never do that again. So I've fallen apart in this whole thing. Fearless. Everybody's like, oh, he's fearless. I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Oh, let's see you fight demons and reptilians. Let's see you do it. I do it naked. How do you do it? Oh, you don't even know what we're talking about? Okay. Just give yourself to yourself 100%. And you'll find yourself in a new position, in a new way, in a new game. You're using your consciousness to overwrite the flesh computer. You're overwriting the programming that you were trained. The AI in you, the ego, has learned all this bullshit. And you're just, you have to discard it, go through the files, get rid, and then you fill with light, and that light is filled with information. The information gives you more than what your brain could whatever, and then your brain restructures itself so it can handle it because they built this thing to work with us. Even though we're broken and beat up, it's because we're on fucking pharmaceuticals. We're getting sprayed and you're drinking fluoridated water. We're all part of that. We're doing the best we can. But when you make that choice and you go for it, you're the hero in your book, right? And you just find yourself there, right? And there, you don't have to worry about a time and a place and where you're going to be. It's meant to be a surprise. All right. Yeah, if the flesh suit is your AI, your onboard computer that tells you fight or flight, the thing that tells a woman, oh, it's time to get pregnant, we're ovulating, and you're like, oh, I'm horny, or oh, I want to do this or whatever. That's your onboard computer. That's your ego. That's why they call it ego death. You keep your shit in check. It never dies. You shrink it. It's hard. You try a lot of things. I wouldn't try physically beating it up. That makes no sense. So yeah, I've tried it. Doesn't make no sense. I've choked it and choked it and choked it. It just gets angrier and rages back at me twice as angry. It just, this is why I'm telling you, you're not listening. And it's like, no, I don't listen to you. You listen to me. Right? And then that thing shrinks. And then you realize you have the whole onboard everything. The heart-brain coherence, right? With your gut. That's really one mind separated into three parts that you have to learn how to, like, it would be like flashing lights on your body that you have to learn how to regulate and get them all to, like, stay steady at the same time. I know that sounds crazy, or go in rhythm with something. Dun, 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 dun. They all spin. Dun, 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 dun. You got to get all that stuff moving. That's the breathing, the meditation. The work that you put in is what you're going to get out of it on the other side. But you're getting it as you go. So it's not like, well, how long do I have to wait to the solar flash? No, you should just be daily upgrading. You're not going to be like me. You find your own path. What do you want me to tell you? You need a psychic to tell you about you? What, you think these people are mostly real? You mostly bugging. You mostly telling yourself more bullshit. You should know who's real. You're not supposed to be wishing in one hand and shitting in the other anymore. You're just doing. You're not praying and waiting. You're doing. Well, I don't know what to do. Well, you better figure it out. What are you doing? Oh, should I panic? No. Are you overweight and you're having problems breathing? Perhaps working backwards from that, like going for a walk. And you're like, well, that's pretty simple. Wait till the Buddha tells you to love yourself more and you tell him to go fuck yourself. And then he's like, obviously, you have to love yourself more because you're a rude little prick. This is what's up, man. All right. So I don't know how many other people are repeating their cycle, but I'm on that 8-year measurement. I guess it just maybe is for me and Paula, but it is revisiting and it is most intense. And in that intensity, quite a lot has happened. I'm going to sum it up until I get to talk to my client because I didn't get a chance to talk to her about talking about the stuff that they went through. However, I met the ancestors of this person. And when I mean ancestors, I mean fucking back. And I said ancestors, and I got mother, father, grandma, grandpa, and then great grandfather and great grandmother shaman. She was in charge. And I got to talk to all of them, and they all had very interesting things to say. And one of the things was, why are you standing in the river? Right? And it was like, so those of you, shout outs to my man, Josh, Josh Carruthers, You the Magician, the music group Chilton. He has a song called Don't Push the River. And I remembered that. And I'm like, standing in the river. You can't push the river. It's like fucking standing in the river holding the rock. You're like facing the opposite way. What are you, a salmon like swimming upstream? Like what? They were asking me about other things. It wasn't about me. I got to meet them. and be part of like what was going on. It was pretty fucking cool. And the moral of the story was you're sitting and waiting in the river for something that's never coming. You're doing it wrong. You're holding a rock in the river, and then you're like got your hands up trying to walk against the river. What? That's stupid talk. Anyone, yes, just about anyone, even the people that are actually doing the river issue, they'll say that, well, that's obviously stupid. You should get in the boat and just go. Or at least just like float down the river, like go with a rock. You're going to drown if the river comes up over your head. And that's what they were saying. The river's going to come. It's going to come fast and strong and hard. And you're going to be fucking trying to go, and people are going to be coming. You're going to drown. Get in the boat and let's go. What are you waiting for? We're all waiting for you. You're waiting for something that's not there. You hope that like Frank says it, or Chris Gio, or whatever, some other guy or girl, and then you all of a sudden are some kind of silver bullet to the whole thing. Oh, I understand the whole thing. No, you don't. You never will. Get the fuck out of here. You're a fucking liar if you say that. You'll just have experience after experience. You won't understand the whole thing. It's too big. You are the whole thing. You have to experience yourself. And if you're not experiencing yourself, you're full of shit. You're lying. You're just a couch jockey listening to videos, trying to figure out who's going to tell me what I need so I can do that one thing that'll get me in. You fucking dummy. Stop it. That's not how this works at all. You wind up going. It's worse for those on the middle that don't make a choice. It's worse. It's just so much worse. But I don't want to scare anyone. Make your choice and just go. If you're not ready, stay. Do your job. If you're ready to go, go. And if you're ready to go, go means wake up every day not worrying about it. It's no worry has to be on the list for the day. Oh, when are we going to get there, Frank? I don't fucking know. Just be happy. Just go create. Your upliftment, it's like an individual thing that's going to happen with other random individuals. So I don't know. That's the big question I have. I said, how do we get from this part to that part? I can see the whole thing, but I can't see this fucking part. And that's the part that drives me nuts. And they're like, you're not allowed to see that. No one's allowed to see that. I'm like, no one? They're like, nope. You don't know what's in there? They're like, no. Yeah, you telling me Archangel Michael don't know what's in there? Nope. The answer is source knows. That's it. It's for everyone. So imagine having to do that for everyone. So he just blacks out the whole area. No one's allowed to look. But you can see your future over it. Oh, obviously, I'm in the new house. There's a shit. I'm there. I'm trauma fixed. I'm doing better. My back feels, but look at it. Yeah, I like this. This is pretty cool. How did we get here? Dead silence. Then you go back and you look. And you go right up to the wall. Hey, I followed this all the way in reverse, all the way back to the static, and couldn't see nothing. Walked around it, went under it, over it, nothing. So I got nothing. However, all this other magical shit's happening. I don't have time to worry about it. So you should know it's a natural cycle. And that the 30-second to midnight clock, here's a reminder, that doomsday clock is an ascension clock. They renamed it to doomsday to get you scared. They threaten with war so you stay in fear and manifest the reality they want, not the reality you want, which is breaking free of the matrix, overriding your system, getting those strands of DNA reactivated and getting back in the game that way. And you realize obstacles get out of your way instead of more shit, right? You just, as you heal and go, but we got a lot to heal from. So it's never going to be one ayahuasca or one meditation. It's going to be just building up levels. Like in Dungeons and Dragons, you just keep rolling out your character every time you're playing. And if you're successful doing something, certain points will add bonuses to your character, thus giving him more health, the ability to do more magical things, to use magic, to become magic, to find out who he truly is. You can do things and have crazy endurance. They would say they were feats of like something that would be like crazy. Like you would jump a little further than most people would jump, and you try to make it, and then you make the jump. The next time you go for the jump, it's not as hard to do it. You start to get skill at it, so it adds number to your character, which adds health and hit point to you. So the more health you have, obviously the better you are. And then they durability, the ability to think, reasoning, your sturdiness, or your intestinal fortitude, your ability to focus and concentrate. It's all put into the character. That's why people love it. They're like, yo, this is fucking crazy. I'm like, right? And then if you roll low, your character's going to fail the feat roll. There's like a chart, and you're going to have to hit a green, yellow, or red, or some crazy show, or a certain number. You have to get like over a 30 or you're dead. So it's like a chance in life, and you're rolling like two-sided dice. Oh, and you roll an 11, your character's gone. Redo. Right? But if you roll a 100, there's bonuses and skill points added, allowing you the next time to only have to roll like a fucking 15. You only need a 15 instead of a 30 this time, because you're so jacked out with your ability. It's like, well, I could pretty much make that. And it's out of 100. So you just roll the dice and then you add them up, see what you get. All right. Anyway, I love you so much. There's a lot to focus on, a lot of things that we all need to do. Just go heart-based, man. Go heart into you. Remember, it's all about self right now, and then it's going to open up to like helping others. So things like the solar flash are great. It's incoming. It's been happening. These are things you can check on yourself. I'm not going to over dramatize, fantasize it with you. You could physically see that this shit's occurring everywhere. The dollar's collapsing. Bitcoin's going back up. Told you that was going to happen. Silver's going to go back up. Told you that we're all on par with that, right? Get out, lose weight, exercise, breathe. It's getting harder to breathe, so that air is so important. It's the only thing you could really control in this world. Prepare. There's things coming like electricity problems and all kinds of other shit. Prepare. Fuck. The cats are fighting. Do the best you can, right? Don't be in fear. If you're prepared, if the lights go out, are you in fear? I wasn't. We had everything we needed, but you didn't have your computer. I know. I had my phone. I still listen to shit. It was charged. I got the little portable battery thing. I go out to my car, start it, charge it. Like, we do the best we can with what we got. Right? And then you go around robbing God's gold guns, whatever you need in between. Get right with yourself. Get prepared and observe. If you're in the right frame of mind, you'll see it all coming. You'll be surprised at some of the stuff, but you'll be able to, Paul and I, we go pivot. I go in football, they would just yell shift. You'd see the guy running this way and you're like, wait, that's not supposed to happen. Shift, shift. And by the time you go to move, they've already hiked the ball and everyone's confused. That's the idea. They're trying to confuse you with the fucking fake plays and the trans delights and the fucking Me Too's and it's all a fucking lie. They're trying to start a war. The economy's fake and crashing. Nothing's good. That most of the people you're seeing on live, it's a script. Biden's this character. He's wearing a fucking mask 2 days ago. Give me a break. They're trying to arrest people. There's so much drama. There's something for everyone. I'm so confused. Like, oh, that's where they want you instead of upgrading. So upgrade. Okay, so this week, what's today? The 16th. Okay, so they're going to start rituals against children using fire. So you fire signs should be really angry. And you air signs, Aries and stuff, you need to not blow on the fire signs right now. Don't enhance the blaze. Control the fire, work together. This is like ritual 2 weeks of rituals, dark shit. We've already had full moon, eclipse, a solar eclipse, and now we're having a new moon solar eclipse on the 20th. So if you guys have not been feeling this energy, I don't know what's going on inside of you. Yeah, it's on the 20th, right? It's 4 days away, right? But it's also a new moon. So this is what happened the last time. It was a full moon solar eclipse. Now it's a new moon solar eclipse. Just understand what it is. They're doing rituals to go against you just sitting there and breathing the upgrade. So that's what you got to prepare for. You're going to hear bad news. You're going to think fucking things are going down. Just if you're prepared, you're good. Just ignore it. Watch your favorite TV show, do some push-ups, smoke some fucking weed, go for a walk with your friend, make a phone call to someone you love and care about that you miss and you just want to say hello. Learn how to play a fucking instrument, speak another language, whatever. Find something you enjoy. Just find something. Knit a fucking sweater if you want. I used to. I have coloring books just for dead moments. Where I'm like, I just don't want to. Yeah, all right. This is a cool red. Just take your mind out. When you need the rest. When you feel like everything is difficult, that's pushing the river. Don't push the fucking river. That was the whole thing. Get in the boat. Let's go. Let it take you. Let it do its job. You're like keeping it from doing its universal job that's really here to help you. Yes, there is a positive way to deal with negative things. For sure. They think chemtrailing is going to stop. The solar flash comes from the central sun, which is the blue Sirius sun. It like pulsates, and then it comes through the wormhole pathways to all the other suns. Everything's connected. So it's just boop, boop, and then burps it right out, right in whatever. It's not whatever direction. It's every direction. I think we talked about this once. Like on the side of the sun not facing us was the first hole that opened, and then it happened that way, but it came back and hit us. So it like just radiated. So if this was like the tip of this was the sun, I'm saying it would just go burp in all directions at one time. So it'll come out this way, but it's just what it looks like to us. It's really that energy is going in every fucking direction. It's God energy. It's source. It's meant to get you back on track. It knows. He knows. She knows. The AI gets so out of hand. The solar flash it's like a knockdown to give everyone the ability to physically evolve the way they're supposed to. We've been held back for so long. It's like you're held back, but you're still hitting the wall. Now you're up against the wall, but you got to go through. You got to go to the other side. So you got to strip off all that shit, and then you wind up fitting through the bars. And it's like, oh, I thought they were taking things from me and trapping me and doing all this crazy. Yeah, they were, but you got out, creator. That's what's up. I resonate with a learning instrument, walking and gardening. So do I. I'm terrible at musical instruments, though, but I will sing and dance, and I rap like a motherfucker. I do hip hop all day, but I have a difficult time with languages and drums, guitars, everything. But I try piano. Piano is my favorite. I try it. Maybe one day I'll sample myself and be able to rock one of my own things. Right? Why not? Pure Meow. Utah, thank you so much. I love you so much. Now sending you most positive vibes. Remember, this is the time. This is the place. We're all here for this together collectively to change the whole thing before they try to trap us in another version of it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Special shout outs to everyone in the chat room. You make the world go round. Everyone out there listening. This is your time. This is your time. We meet here and then it's masks off. Hey, look who it is. Right? And it's not going to be easy. A breakdown in society is never easy, but I believe it's all set up already. The bad guys already lost. That shit's over, but they have to let it play out to show you, the normal person out there, what's happening, to show you that it's that bad. And they got to do that at little bit at a time, or you'll pop. It's too much for moms and pops. It's too much. It overwhelms the mind. It's a plan designed by an ET, interdimensional, archonic AI douchebag. It's going to be better than any of us could play. However, as we unlock, it's like a fourth grader, 4D. It's like fourth grade, telling you who is source, which is the most high of every grade. But it's you as an individual. It's telling you how to run the show, how to run your own show, how it runs you, because it's God. And that's funny. But I'm not in third grade or fourth grade. I'm up here. We're ready. So you're obviously not going to be able to tell me that you're God when I'm sitting here, meaning the AI itself. We came here to purge that shit from the system, get everybody up into the next layer that we can. Because there's more future to get to be part of. There's more now moments that have to be dealt with over there on that level. And we're going to live through all of them. Some of us are just passing through. Some of us are here to stay. Some of us bounce and then come back and help. Some of us never come back again, or they just leave. I'm out. They never even finish. They're like, I'm gone. Fuck this. Because it gets intense. All right. With that, I love you so much. Remember to stay fearless, because the universe rewards bravery. May the source be with you. And if you need me, hit me up. I will be in the background lurking. All right. I also got the Typical Skeptic podcast coming up on May 16th. And don't forget to go to IamWeAreFearless.com to check out the latest and greatest in Fearless and Sons of the Sun official gear. And Sons of the Sun, of course, on Spotify and every other place you could find music on this planet. You will find Sons of the Sun. Go there, check it out. Raise your frequency, higher frequency in the house. Shout outs to Della and Joe, Lexi, Michael, Dawn, Lamer, Lucky, Shell, Pure Meow, Cello Man. Yeah, we got it all. All right, that's all. I'm going back. I love you guys so much. See you next time. Eating that pudding. Stay fearless.